The end of Chip Zdarsky and George Jimenez's Batman run
Oh,
has come to fruition. We are here at a time that I've been looking forward to. I won't lie. I've been looking forward to this point, uh, partially because we know what's coming later, but also partially because of what's come before, let's be honest. But the question we're going to be answering, amongst others today, is did they stick the landing? We'll find out soon. We've got Cale,
what's up, hot dogs?
Marco,
Howdy do.
Tyler.
Look at all four of us here. Just
Yes.
like old times, some house balls. Hello, everyone.
So is how do you do Marco's new thing? Because I don't like
He has tried. Well, it's very Scott Ackerman new thing every week. None of them
It's a
stick.
process.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it has to connect with people to be like, wow, Marco, that was such a great idea. And it just hasn't.
yet.
Viewers,
Yeah.
listeners, if you guys want a catchphrase from Marco, submit them.
All right. So we've done, what have we done in the main show?
Oh, no, no.
360 some odd episodes, right? Of this, we've done another, I don't know, 100 or some odd. If every single episode we've ever done, Marco tried a new catchphrase, none of them would have landed. We would still be waiting.
We
What's-
still are waiting.
What's landing is the bit, I would say, but that's about it.
Is it a bit at this point? It's a sad attempt at something.
Well.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
You want to own yourself
exactly
like that? That's all right.
Thank
the
you
bit.
thank you for being here, whether you are live or in the future. Make sure you smash that like button. We're going to say hello to as
Smash.
many of you as we can in a little bit. We've got six of this week's biggest releases. We've got the aforementioned Batman 157. We have Absolute Superman number 4. Birds of Prey number 18. Look at this cover.
Ooh,
That's the cover I pulled for the
ooh.
slide too.
Don't mind if I do.
Damn.
Hey, whoa, easy. Hey, put that back on the screen. Hold on a second.
Oh, you got it, dude.
Marco, hand
Black
check.
Canary.
Hand check.
Hey,
Okay, we're
easy,
good.
easy. You're good.
JSA number 4, the book that won the listener poll this week.
Yes.
The Ultimates number 9. And Kaya. What number is this? 25.
25.
Kaya number 25. So
25.
pretty good books. For my money, 3 of these are in my top 10. They were my top 10 comics of January. I posted that
Ooh.
over on the Patreon. Go check that out for free. Let's talk about Batman. Let's kick the conversation off with Batman. This is the end of a multi-year run by the creative team of Chip Zdarsky, George Jimenez. Tony Daniel makes an appearance here as well. Tamul Murray on colors, letters by Clayton Cowles. And there were, after 156, there were some story elements to wrap up. Of course, we needed to see the Riddler go down. We needed to see Batman chase down this Court of Owls wannabe guy. And we needed to see Batman ultimately face down Captain Star. And also, you know, does Bruce's brother really exist? Like, what's up with that? This book answers and deals with all of those things. Sometimes satisfactorily, sometimes not. And I think for me, this issue is as uneven as the run. It's a microcosm of the run overall. Maybe more good than bad, but some questionable material. Cale, why don't you start us off? What do you think about this finale?
I started with this book and I sort of expected to, like, I spent no time catching up on just about anything. But I expected to jump in here and at least be ready to have a good time. And I kind of felt like I was seeing the same stuff from other people's runs. So basically like you just said, a microcosm of every criticism we've given Chip. Batman lands a plane while standing on top of it and lassos the controls or whatever the fuck. That's Tom King. he wraps up a brother arc. That's Scott Snyder. And I'm kind of disappointed. I didn't even necessarily like, in the past I've been like, well, I didn't necessarily like enjoy the issue as a whole, but I had a good time. I didn't even feel that here. I felt like the Gordon stuff was just it was a bit too much. It was a bit convoluted on top of the Commander Star stuff, and then he lands a plane in the streets of Gotham. And it was just so much. And I also really just didn't like Chip's voice for uh Bruce and like his captions. And not to sound like a church grandma, but it was damned this and damned that. And I just like, okay.
He's taken from Miller's All-Star Batman.
Yeah, yeah. And it just like I got to I think it was the confrontation with Star when he jumps out of the Bruce jumps out of the the windshield of the airplane and goes to he's flying through the air and punches Star, and then Star immediately comes up with an uppercut to Batman's ribs, and I went,
Yeah,
where's the momentum there?
it stopped. He like
Yeah.
frozen midair to receive the punch.
And it like that's very like I can see that with Jimenez art, but like the moment didn't make sense to me, and I went, I'm kind of glad this is it.
To what you're saying about the captions, there's the moment where, he's the whole airplane sequence felt like forced tension, like it was there to build something up. Otherwise, like there it could have been a better way around that, especially the part where he's like, I gotta blow up these wings, and only one chance at this. Contact in 15 seconds. He says he hates the feeling of metal, but I do what I have to. Like, not badass, not cool, falls flat, and the plane lands, like the plane crashes. Um, I will say to that part that you called out on the art, the effect of the batarang coming at us, that was cool.
That was cool.
That
Yeah.
was real cool. And yeah, I think for me it was a lot of the text that slowed things down, made things feel janky. That sequence that I called out, the moment where Savage is like trying to put a block on Harvey. Harvey kind of just like pushes forward. It's supposed to be this heroic kind of moment that again falls flat. So it felt uh, it didn't feel as bombastic an ending. It wasn't necessarily messy. It had a lot of things it was juggling, but it didn't feel spectacular.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. This arc felt hobbled at the knees, really. And I will say the the Jimenez and the Tony Daniel art is so damn good in this. There are some bits in here that reminds me of like why Jorge Jimenez is such a goddamn good Batman artist. The plane scene where he's crashing out of the windshield of the plane, which also like I think those windshields are pretty strong. But in a couple of the fight scenes, it just looks so good. And there's that one final scene where it's Batman. It's like a single page splash. And it's like, man, he just understands how to make that costume look really good and how to make Batman look awesome. But the story was just, man, it felt like it was running in place here just to try and finish up and close up all its threads. And then like I did not like the twist at the end. It's like, well, maybe Jim actually did kill this dude. And Batman's like, no, you're fine, bro. You're fine. It's like trying to justify your problematic friend's cancellation or something. Like, well, he's my friend, so I kind of have to support him. Like, it's just, I didn't feel much for that. That felt out of character for both of them. and it didn't really do much for me. This really felt like Chip had to just put his toys back in the box and get ready for the next arc. I was half expecting them to be like, Vandal Savage is no longer commissioner either, just to kind of make sure everything's ready for Hush Tua. So I feel bad because I think there have been some high points about this run, but it's just so inconsistent that I think it pales in comparison to his Daredevil run.
This was so yeah, like some of that stuff was so disappointing. I really I'm really puzzled by like why were we supposed to care about the Russian storyline here? Like Batman hasn't intersected with Russia almost at all, to my knowledge. The KG Beast is
yeah.
not like some Batman villain that people care about deeply. Like him being involved in this is not cool. Like it's not like, yeah, wow. Commander Starr as a character felt paper thin. Like that never went anywhere. It reminds me of Captain Krakoa, but Captain Krakoa was like at least a little bit of something, but this was less than that. There's this whole subplot here about the people of Gotham being, angry and, needing to be treated better. And, Captain Star is leading this, or Commander Star is leading this revolution and stuff like that. And it was like a lame version of what Bane was doing in the Dark Knight Rises movie. But it felt even flatter because Commander Star had no clout. Like, where did the fuck did you come from? We hardly see you. Like, you're nobody. It didn't. Nothing was earned. None of this was earned. The idea of Commander Star wasn't earned. He never did anything. The Russian influence wasn't earned. That was bullshit. There's just a lot of BS here.
And the justification for the Russian subplot in this was just like, what? They wanted to cause havoc in Gotham to show that the U.S. is just full of crazies and to make the U.S. look bad for pro-Russian propaganda.
We're doing that already ourselves. Like, we don't.
Yeah, I know. It's a little on the nose, Chip. Come on.
It's convoluted. It's convoluted. That's not cool. I like people say, keep politics out of my comics. Well, I don't say that, but I do say make shit compelling. Like
make it believable.
Yeah, like I'm not. What year is this? 1982. Like, are we in the Cold War? What the fuck do I care about the Russians as far as being an enemy of the U.S.? That's such a lukewarm concept. And I felt like let's give Chip a chance, like let him cook a little bit. Well, bro, what he served up is not gourmet.
Yeah, dude. Cafeteria.
It's a bit reheated.
Ooh,
I mean, that's
that's good. Yeah. It's disappointing because, like Tyler said, the high moments have been cool. The introduction of characters has been cool. The concepts are there, but when it came to certain things that have felt rehashed, it doesn't land. And to have to tie all of these things at the end, the brother moment, like, yeah, I'm sure he was tasked, like having to be tasked with this was probably difficult, and to try to build something compelling, but still, like that's I guess part of the job, and it didn't work out.
And I gotta call out the Jim Gordon twist that he really did choose to kill Nakayama, or I think that's what his name was. Nah, dude. No, sorry. You can't get that off. Like, we railed against that when it was first revealed that Gordon killed this dude. And we were all like, no, that's not, you cannot do that. And then the twist was, oh, he was influenced by Jervis Tech. Okay, fine. Sure. But then to go back on that and say, no, actually I did kill that guy, and for Batman to just go, all right, hey, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. He shot him with a gun. That's Batman's like third rail.
Doing our best, man. That's all we can do.
Yeah, if Gordon were a Robin, he would have like locked him up. Like, well, I guess not. Hood's still out.
Anybody. He shot and murdered a man because he was tight that he wanted his wife. What the fuck?
And not only that, then Gordon's like, I'm just gonna join the Force again. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
You don't just be like, all right, guys, I'm back. No, they're not gonna hire this old dude again.
First of all, yeah, you're 57 years old. Second of all, you just caught a body. Don't you think you should reevaluate yourself? You're exactly the problem with the Force. You have no self-control, Jim Gordon. You should not be patrolling the streets of Gotham. You need to be on payroll. You need to be inside working that desk. Gotham isn't safe because of Jim Gordon. He's killing people.
He was a hero long enough to see himself become the villain.
Exactly.
Yep.
Unreal. You know what? I take back what I said earlier. This comic is not. This isn't just uneven, and it doesn't lean good. There's some major flaws with this bad boy. The art is tremendous, as Tyler pointed out, but from a story standpoint, I don't think I'm satisfied with any of these resolutions.
Same.
Actually.
Yeah. They're either half baked or contrived. Like even him going back to the Force was, oh yeah, whatchamacallit, Harvey's not there anymore. He got fired, so we got space.
Or even the whole brother subplot, where it's like, well, I'm not actually your brother.
Okay, cool.
I've seen Maury episodes shorter than that. Like we could have figured that one out with Bruce's myriad resources available to him.
I'm happy enough being me. Dude, what?
Well, and his reasoning for that also just didn't track. I just wanted to stick it to you because you're a billionaire. I didn't want any of your money.
What?
Money makes people unhappy. I don't know, dude.
Wouldn't be terrible.
I would try and get something.
That was just dumb as shit. Like, what were you trying to get off? Again, the themes of this arc, as it relates to Gotham, is that people like Bruce, billionaires who abuse their power and resources, are bad guys, which is an extension of, a lot of real world feelings. But there wasn't anything under the hood of other than just saying that. Like, oh, billionaires are bad, rich people suck, and money sucks. Okay, but what else? If that's all there is, I don't care. That made that moment fall flat. It made Commander Star fall flat. There was no time put into the themes of this. And by the way, one arc, 6 or so issues is not enough to bake those themes in. He should have been establishing this stuff a long time ago. You've had a run of 30 plus issues.
Especially when we've spent 80 years with this particular billionaire. We know what he does. We know his poop schedule. We know this man. We know he's good, right? Like this is the one case where it's like, oh, actually, like Chip, I don't really. The vibe you're putting off there isn't gonna work because I like this one.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, there's nothing. Chip is bringing something up that podcasts like ours have talked about that doesn't work. You can't apply that logic to Bruce because we see what he does. We see what kind of man he is. He's not that guy. So you can't get that storyline off in a Batman comic if you don't have some real meat behind it. I'm not saying there's absolutely no argument to be made. I'm saying this one doesn't work.
And then he tried making Nigma the kind of foil to that. But that's also like it's pre-established. We know he's not going to be a billionaire forever. I don't know if Chip maybe had planted seeds issue 1 of his run that could have led to something, but it's also like, how do you make a billionaire overnight? You know what I mean? It's a tricky storytelling.
You get a robot to take all the money and then put it in your bank account. That's
Got it. Cool. Marco, you want to help me out with that one?
Yeah, we're gonna open up an account in the Cayman Islands.
Gotcha. Cool. Or they said the Cayman Islands. I'm not going there.
No.
And there's a thought to give grace, right? Because we know that there were issues with the schedule surrounding this run. I am not willing to be so gracious because this is not a new run. This run didn't start last year. Chip and Jimenez have been on this for a while. This arc feels so bizarre. Like, from a quality standpoint, it's about where a lot of other stuff has been. But the arc itself feels so bizarre because it very much feels like Chip's run ended when they beat Failsafe, and all this is just extra shit that nobody really cared about.
Yeah.
Where's the Joker, by the way?
It's almost like they were like, hey, we need somebody to tread water for a bit while we get Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb ready. And
Chip
then
said,
Chip,
I got one more in me.
yeah. They're like, Chip, can you just keep it going for a little bit? Yeah, sure. I guess we'll make something.
Yeah, but to that point, then do less work, do less things. Like stop. Like you would imagine, hey, I need you to coast for the next 6 issues, man. Like introduce one plot point, not 7.
What do they call that? Quiet quitting.
Yeah, quite quitting. Yeah.
It's really bugged out, and I feel bad for Chip in a way because I do personally believe that he will be judged by this run.
Hmm.
I think when you have a rough time on Batman, that's not a good look, and I do believe he will be judged by this run. I think maybe there's an aspect of it to where DC's to blame, but it's not like the problem started now. A lot of people have complained about this run pretty much from the first arc. People really love that first failsafe arc, and then it was a roller coaster from there. So I would love to give Chip grace. I can't do that. As good as this run has looked, we didn't even have Jorge Jimenez on the book for a lot of it towards the end. This has ended with a whimper.
We have a super chat from MP, and we'll get to the other super chats in a bit. But that kind of echoes your point, Sean. He said, like Tinian's run before it, I strongly suspect Zdarsky's Batman will be forgotten. Can't say that bothers me. The main Batman book needs an overhaul.
Yeah, totally.
Do you, now that we've had the full run, do you guys think Batman is a good fit for Chip? I feel like Daredevil worked. I feel like Spider-Man has worked for Chip.
I think Marvel works better for Chip because he deals better with like not more grounded, but a more like outside your window take on superheroes. Look at public domain.
Yeah.
I just think Chip works better there. That being said, he did Howard the Duck and it worked great. So,
But I mean, the character being a duck, like
sure, he's not a
it
god.
still
like,
operates. Yeah, it still operates in a a grounded scenario.
But even when he tries to do a grounded something grounded in this universe, I guess to some degree, like let's say Gotham War, right? Like mixed bag. So I don't know. Maybe it is a universe thing. Maybe it's the sandbox.
Let's let's table this conversation for just a quick minute. I want to give our final thoughts on this issue and then do a little bit of a quick post-mortem on the run itself. So, I'm going to pass on this issue. I do not think it was a strong ending at all. It felt like it went out on arguably the worst arc of the run, and that's really a bummer. I'm not sure exactly where the blame lies, and sometimes things just don't work out, but this did not end well for me.
it's a pass from me too. Although I really like Jimenez, and we don't know where he's going after this, right? Do we?
Right.
So that's kind of exciting. I wonder if he's on one of those absolute books that haven't been announced yet. But that excites me, but it has nothing to do with this book, so this is a pass.
I had this as a poll for the sake of the continuity, but as we had this discussion, that dropped. That I would not recommend you pick this up. Wait for the next arc. Pass.
Yeah, this issue is almost like I read this almost completely blind, and it's almost completely impenetrable, and it's not very good. Pass.
Very unfortunate. Let's check the poll, see how things wrapped up here. We've got 48% pull. Didn't buy or read is 34%. Pass is 13%. And pick of the week is 3%.
Damn,
Whoa.
didn't read as high.
If you did pick of the week, I want to hear from you. Why was this your pick of the week? I really want to know.
Yeah, out yourself.
Chip has joined the chat. This is like pick of the week.
I actually thought it was pretty good.
I mean, Hound says it's a pull for me because Batman has been a pull for me since 1973.
Yeah.
And like, I have to separate that from my head because I've also picked up every Batman issue that I've read since I've been reading Batman. But like on its own, I can't justify it.
Yeah, like I'm never gonna drop Batman, but if the question is, would I recommend you buy this? No, definitely can pass. But with the context of the whole run now, um, you know, where does this stand as a Batman run? Is it something that's going to stand the test of time? Is it the kind of run that you're going to go back to? Do you think we missed out? Will it read better collected? You know, all that kind of stuff.
I think some of the ideas that get introduced, and specifically I'm thinking failsafe, carries over. That might stick around. That was a cool concept. That was engaging. And that was probably for me, the peak of this run. I remember feeling and us theorizing and the rush of holy shit, how does he get out of this? So I think that being the highest point, but it does not contend with some of the lower points. It makes the run overall feel flat, and so I think the run, it's not going to be lauded. It'll be remembered for, oh yeah, cool, like failsafe came out during Chip's run. That's right. Um, and he had the book for a time the same way Tinian might have had the book for a time.
Remember Zeranar was in this run?
That too, yep. But I forget that part.
Oh, you have selective memory then.
Right, that's
Yeah,
right.
great for this discussion. Yeah, I don't. When I think of like good Batman runs, I'm not sure this will pop up into my head first. I can think of good Batman artists, and I think Jimenez will pop up, but I think that's about as far as it goes for me.
I mean, I would recommend the first arc. I thought all that stuff was really good, but I think with the fail-safe bits where Chip's heart was in this run, it's very difficult to use the phrase unoriginal when you're talking about people writing for characters that have existed for 80, 90 years. Um, the problem for me, because everybody's always going to do something we've seen before. The problem for me is that it feels like the best parts or the biggest standout parts of very recent runs, recent relative to comics, last 2 decades, is exactly where Chip was pulling from. And so much of it felt like old hat. And so it's hard to even give him credit for failsafe when the construction of that is pulling directly from my favorite run on Batman, and this wasn't better than that.
It feels
Like
derivative.
even the idea wasn't used better than that.
Yeah, Chip's I know Chip's, favorite books are like the Frank Miller versions, and you know trying to pull your inspiration directly from Batman Year 1 to Batman Year 40, where he's injecting his consciousness into robots, is like, that's quite a leap, dude. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And as far as like where it stands in the annals of Batman history, I truly don't think that this will be. It's not a transitional run. It wasn't that. This was the run. It does not going to stand out. I don't think.
Meant to be
10 years from
marquee.
now. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunate. But you guys have been chatting it up in the chat, so let's go through your super chats first. We've got a few here to hit. Um, Matt Fisher dropped a few on us. He says for $4.99, what's up, Miles Davis Quartet? Absolute Superman for Book of the Week. Reread it, listening to the Man of Steel soundtrack. It's worth it. I
Huh.
think it's always worth it to listen to the Man of Steel soundtrack. Good ass soundtrack. Another $4.99 from Matt Fisher. This ending was good, but failsafe unalived the momentum of the run.
What are we on TikTok?
Yeah, we can say that here. we can say
Censored.
we can
No.
say that word.
Censored.
I think it's funnier censored, but yes, we definitely can't say it.
He did. He did.
Another Matt Fisher, $1.99. I know it's not realistic, but please, no more Joker. Well, sure, but like, actually, though, it felt like they were building up to some Joker stuff here that never happened, right?
Was there?
I did.
Remember when they showed how Capito was the guy who taught Batman and Joker how to dissociate, and then
Yeah.
Joker became like a super Joker version,
Oh yeah.
and then nothing happened?
Wasn't
Am
that
am I
like
forgetting
Joker
something?
Joker Year One? We had a bit of that, and it was like teasing like, oh,
Oh yeah.
the ramifications of what we learned in Year One will come back for the finale.
But nothing happened.
How did that culminate?
Maybe? If it did happen, I don't remember it, which is not good.
Or did it culminate and it wasn't any good?
I genuinely don't remember. I
'Cause
remember the Year One arc, but that's
Right.
all.
Interesting.
Damn, dude. Damn, dude.
Matt Fisher with another $1.99. I want to direct this at Sean. He says, Sean, did you like this more or Rogue Savage Land?
This has Jimenez art, so this.
Come on.
Okay,
Come on.
now Matt Fisher got you another one. Actually, would you choose this or Axis?
Like one issue of this or all of Axis? Like, what are the parameters here? Axis was pretty good looking, bro. And this whole arc did not have, well, the art in this arc was pretty fucking good. I'll go with Axis. I'll go with Axis over this.
Uncanny Suit 97 with 199 asking, is the lack of Alfred distracting for y'all?
Yep.
Nope.
Nah, I got used to it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. It's been long enough where I've kind of lived with it long enough where it's just status quo for me. I think once he's back in Hush 2, which somebody said Hush 2 is like directly after Hush.
Yeah, I just saw someone say 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Okay. So Alfred will be back then. So maybe once I see him again and then we go back to modern day, it's going to be jarring again for me. But I don't know. That's going to be a weird situation to have to explain.
Luis Fernando with the 5. What?
Brazil, Real.
Brazil.
The Real.
Oh, okay. He says Absolute Superman is the best of the week for me. Fantastic as always. Hugs from Brazil. I love your work. Hey, hugs from New York.
Let's
I love your
go.
work. Thank you, Louise, for the 5 spot and for establishing that your pick was Absolute Superman this week. Thank you, brother.
My man got 4 names, bro. What a Hispanic.
Respectful fist bump from Liverpool. I don't do hugs. Please don't touch me.
Distance with the mask. You kind of like real full extend the arm too.
Luna, been a member of the channel for 4 months, says this run is probably in my lower end of favorite Bat books. Yeah, I would say of the modern, from Grant to now, this is my bottom tier Batman.
So what is that? Grant, Snyder, Tinian,
Chip,
and Chip. Oh yeah, easy. I don't even like Snyder that much. And it's
Even King.
Oh, and King. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the one who was on it the longest, probably.
Yeah, this would be bottom tier for me.
Yikes.
MP with 499 and 199 to follow up with it. How would you rank Chip's main arcs? 1 Failsafe, 2 Batman of Gotham, 3 Gotham War, 4 Mind Bomb, 5 Joker Year 1, 6 Dying City, and then also Dark Prisons. I'm trying to remember what is each of them. I can tell you my favorites. That much I can tell you.
Fail safe mind bomb.
Yep.
And then everything else.
You're naming
Just
the Jimenez
lumped.
arcs, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mind Bomb was Zurinar, no?
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah.
That was when, like, it was like arcing. It was like, oh, here's Jimenez and Zeranar and Failsafe. Oh, we're in a multiverse. Oh, we're back with Failsafe. And then,
Yeah.
I'll do the ranking. Failsafe, Mind Bomb, Dark Prisons, Gotham War, Joker Year One. God, that shit was weird. Dying City and Batman of Gotham. That's where I would go.
Whoa, Gotham War's high up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
means
mean, dude,
the rest was dog.
you gotta,
shit.
yeah, bro. Like, there were some issues in Dying City and Joker War where I wish I was reading anything else.
Which one was Dying City?
The one we just read.
This
Jeez.
is what it said.
Oh, wow.
Said finale on it.
Oh man, you guys keep those super chats coming. We're loving it. Thank you so much. Matt with another 4.99. So is there an actual editorial reason Alfred is still dead? No. I'm sure that it's been the status quo and they're trying something out right now. They're building up I think they're building up the other characters in Bruce's life to become bigger supporting characters like what's her name? Leslie Tompkins. They've really leveled her up. And you see him interacting with the Robins all the time. I think if you go back to some earlier runs, it's Alfred heavy, so we're getting a break.
And I think
He's also a normal person.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was gonna
That's
say.
what happens.
Yeah, it's hard to justify a superhero supernatural way to bring back a civilian. You know what I mean? Because then
Yeah.
you're riding yourself into some deep water there.
They could bring
I mean,
Alfred
no,
back any
they
second.
can.
They could,
can.
absolutely. And they
But
will.
people will complain.
Yeah.
Is what
Yeah.
where I'm getting at. Yeah.
People will complain at any moment. That's comics.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Atomic Hound with the 4.99. Batman as a flagship title should not just be okay, and that's what a lot of Chip's run was. Yeah, and that's something that DC has to fix. I'm sure that the numbers are going to be high for Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee.
Oh.
But Batman has to get back to being a top 5 book.
This is that step, right? Like get people back on board, clean slate. Hey, we're doing a thing. You remember this, right? And then from there, really get somebody high profile to have value for the book.
Yeah. We haven't even talked to you guys. So let's say hello to some of our listeners because a lot of you, the guys who haven't super chatted, the guys and gals, we haven't even interacted with. What's up, Uncaged? What's up, Kyle? Good to see you. CW Gordon, how's it going? Um, Dropping knowledge in the chat as ever. Cole, how's it going? Uncanny Suit, thank you for being here. Phantom Flame, good to see you. Little Miss Marvel, happy birthday to Little Miss Marvel. She showed off a really nice haul of birthday gifts on the Discord. So happy birthday. Really good stuff there. Yeah. A lot of you hanging out with us. Make sure you smash the like button if you're enjoying what we're
Smash.
doing. Thank you for tuning in. A lot of you are here with us right now. That's awesome. Chop Harder says, okay, but how do you bring Alfred back? Lazarus.
Word, yeah.
It's always gonna be Lazarus. I say Batmite just pluck some out of
That'd be
Mm.
good.
another issue.
Hey, comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Superman flies around the planet backward.
About 5 years to
Yeah.
resurrect Alfred. Sure.
And then Alfred is actually Richard Pryor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yo, I've been watching Batman 66 on Saturday mornings. And Alfred legit is like my favorite character.
That's a great show.
That,
It
that
holds
dude
up.
is
So.
goofy and tall as hell.
Oh my goodness. All right. Let's get on to our next book. That is Absolute Superman number 4. This is written by Jason Aaron, who we recently had on the channel. If you missed that interview, go check it out. It was very good. He's joined by Rafa Sandoval, on the art, colors by Ulysses Ariola, letters by Becca Carey. Issue 3 of Absolute Superman, I think pretty much everybody agrees, is the high mark of this particular series and one of the high points of the Absolute universe to this point. And so it was always going to be difficult to follow up from that. Um, I think this issue is certainly a slower one with less major reveals and less impact to it. It's largely a Lois focused issue as she's trying to track down Superman. She's trying to, figure out where he's been. And so they're interrogating a bunch of people who have encountered him. And, you know, she's clearly doing things differently than she's supposed to be. Different than this organization, Lazarus or whatever that she works with, different than her father wants her to, different than the Peacemakers, different than Brainiac. And so what this issue is largely doing is establishing that realistically she is on the side of Superman and on the side of the people, whether she realizes it yet or not. How did you guys feel about this?
I like this a lot. Um, this was strong, another strong entry. We do get it from the perspective of Lois, but I like that it's from the ground up. I feel like that's what Superman has all been about. This version of Superman has all been about is the people on the ground and how they perceive Superman and the way that he has interacted and impacted their lives. The interviews where she's asking the questions. It's a 9 panel grid, all in different countries, all of different kind of ways of life, injury, etc. And then they, at some point, like halfway through the book, they start to talk back to her and say, this is the way that we're affected. You're looking for this person, but this is how he's affected us. This is what he does. Or a couple pages in, and the fact that she is looking for him and trying to even break her own cycle to some degree because she's been affected by Superman, I think is just consistently compelling. He doesn't have to be in this issue for me to feel the world continue to grow out and for me to feel who he is as an individual. And I think that's a great way to represent Superman.
I really like the way this issue started with those 9 panel grids, where it was just Lois interviewing. There's the reporter aspect, interviewing these people who've come into contact with Superman all over the globe, and they will not rat him out. They recognize that he fights for them in their myriad different issues they have, but their issues are that they're the little guy, and Superman fights for them. And I think you're right, Marco. That is explaining the Superman to me and showing me who the Superman is without showing me Superman. I think it's really well done in this, and I think that being kind of the crux of this issue, and Lois kind of slowly, like, she's getting the pieces to this case together, and she's going to realize which side she's on sooner or later, and it's not the side she expects. And I like that about it. I do I do kind of miss the Krypton stuff. I was really digging that stuff, and we were kind of left on a cliffhanger in issue 3, but I know we'll get back to it, so I have faith in it.
I really enjoyed the small moment with Brainiac we got here. Brainiac and the Christopher Smith Peacemaker. I really like this. I don't know if it's a twist on Brainiac necessarily, but it's just it's such a way, such a modern, relevant way of like, this is what everybody's afraid of with AI. Like this is what we're all talking about. And it just like it really struck me as very relevant. And I was I don't know, it's dumb to say, pleasantly surprised by it. And it's just it's a such an interesting way to subjugate these peacemakers, and make them fight for uh the cause.
And this is like the Peacemaker too. That Christopher Smith is the John Cena one. So it's
Oh,
nice
is
to
it?
see
Okay,
like
yeah.
an actual named character here.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I liked seeing more of Lois and spending more time with her. I liked her conversation with her dad, where she's, defying him, and they're on opposite ends of this issue. I also really liked that they showed that he lost his legs. Um, it makes me feel like he will probably have a suit of armor by the time this is over.
Yeah.
A little Metallo, maybe. Oh, absolute Metallo.
Yeah, I was
That's what
thinking
I was.
Metallo
That's what I
will
was
be
sniffing
her
too.
dad.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense because if I remember correctly, there is some kind of relationship, or there has been at some point, between Lois's dad and Metallo in the books. So circumventing all that and just making him Metallo makes a lot of sense.
He's the one that pretty much makes people Metallo. He's like, oh, I'm gonna sign you up, soldier, for this thing. So yeah.
So yeah, so there you go. I did like that a lot. The way that Lois just beats Peacemaker's ass was a little, that felt a little ridiculous. I don't know how that could have happened, but I guess maybe he's not going to fight her back. So sure. I like the idea that these people, the people of Earth that Superman fights for, not only will they protect him, but there were some people, I believe it was the Muslim woman, who was saying, "We want him to kill all of you."
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yep.
And I was like, "Whoa, that's fucking crazy." But then I thought that sentiment makes sense when you consider the level of oppression
Yeah.
that exists not only in our real world, but also in this world where we're supposed to believe it's a darker world. It's a worse world than the modern world. So for them to be at that point of exploitation and oppression, to be willing to say, you know what? We pray that one day he kills all of you, all of our oppressors. I was like, you know what? I get it. I'm with that.
They want
Hell
him to
yeah.
put on that Luigi hat. Is what they want.
Yo, yeah. Cap. Yeah, and I think that uh because of that, that makes, Superman that much more gracious. He won't go to those degrees because they mention it as well. He has zero body count. He's not out here doing those things, right? He is there for ultimately for their benefit and their good. He is not their revenge though. He is not their retribution. He is simply there for the sake of justice. That is the message that pulls through for me. I love that moment.
In the introduction of the Omega Men, which is not typical to what Omega Men are in
Yeah.
comics prior to this, is that other side of the coin.
Yep.
These are people viewed as terrorists. It's very much the way the Ultimates are viewed in the Ultimates comic. Jimmy Olsen's there, and then some mystery character who has a relationship to Lois somehow. So that's interesting. But they are the ones saying, "Hey, no, we're going to be those people that take down Lazarus. We're not just, being reactionary to the injustices that happen because of Lazarus. We're going to shut them down." And seeing, I assume the next issue will at least discuss or at least have Superman, I guess, mentally cope with that idea and fight with that, because it is atypical to how he's been doing things normally. And it's a classic Superman thing. Like, should Superman interfere? That's been in Superman comics for the creation of the character, essentially. So it will be nice to see that kind of debate had in a more modern lens.
I like that Jimmy was the alpha, to the Primus Omega. Like he is, presumably he is, the brightest part of that movement, even though he's aligned with it, and they do quote unquote the wrong thing, let's say, or like violent things. He is the better end of that versus the Omega of the Omega Men, which was an interesting to see that reflected on the mask.
I kind of rolled my eyes at that moment where she's like, "Are you hearing me, Olsen?" And he goes, "You can call me Jimmy." It's like, yeah, we know, dude.
I saw the hair. That's all I needed, Jimmy.
Yeah, same. Yep.
Yeah.
So there he is.
Her saying Olsen is totally enough. Like, you know.
It's almost too much.
Yeah.
Frankly, the art though, man, the way that red, the suit and how it appears, like how it almost makes like a gas or something, a red gas, like it has that kind of look and vibe to it. That shit is so cool, man.
You know what I liked about that is right before Superman shows up, the specks of dust start showing up,
Yeah.
almost like an omen or like a precursor to his appearance. And I thought that was a good way to like slowly build that up. And even Jimmy knew he's like, oh, he starts seeing something in the air, so he knew it was coming. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Rafa Sandoval may not have been the first artist that they wanted for this book, but man, he is making it look amazing. Like he is elevating this book every single issue.
Which is wild because I look at this, I'm like, oh, he's made for this, you know, like this. I mean, probably because he helped design it and stuff like that, presumably. But it just works for his art style. Even those opening 9-panel grids, which was very Heroes in Crisis. Like I opened it up, I'm like, oh shit. But the varying degrees of he can just draw people and they all look distinct. We don't need to know their names. We don't. This is they're there for a purpose, but they're all distinct and they all have a character and look to them. And I thought it was just really really good comic book storytelling.
I always hate it when Superman uses his freeze powers on humans. So I'm always like, aren't they just dead? Like Lois was talking to the Peacemaker, and I'm like, he can't hear you. He's in the afterlife now.
It's like hypothermia, like times 10.
Yeah, like you don't just get thawed out of this. Like you're gone.
Yeah, that Walt Disney thing, not real.
Right.
Yeah.
I did like how they represented that though, that cut panel to where it's his eyes and then it's the mouth and they have it in like separated in two ways. I thought that was cool. That was neat.
And the implication is that he gets out, right, and then kills everybody.
Yeah.
I thought the implication was almost like he was about to shoot Superman. His gun was ready, but it froze, and as soon as he's unfrozen, the gun just goes off, and everyone's dead. And he was like
Oh.
also mad at the same time, and he was okay with like I don't know. He saw red. It was a wild final page though, with like just women and children dead. It's like oh this is that dark universe. It's got some dark side energy to it.
I see. I took it as he was angry because he says he spit on us. Superman spit us away like we were nothing, and everyone was laughing. He was taking that
True,
and
yeah.
he just went red with rage, and he's like, you know what? Who cares about these people? Because they're not anything.
Yeah, yeah. I think the point they're trying to get across is that this guy has an anger problem and doesn't care about people.
Right.
Which I like as an antagonist to Superman. It is a little odd that the peacemakers are who Superman's facing off with, but with the Brainiac stuff in the background, it's fine. I thought this was quite good though. Easy pick or easy pull rather. Not my pick of the week, but definitely a strong fourth installment.
Yeah, easy pull for me as well.
Same.
Yeah, pull.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying. We've got a super chat from Entertain Me who
Trying.
says
Damn.
Okay. The issue with Batman is DC won't let go of the status quo and continue to just rely on his popularity, even if they make him less efficient. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't like Alfred being dead, but I guess when it comes to shaking stuff up, I do give DC credit for letting that rock for as long as they have and for letting it happen in the first place. So I think that they gave it a shot there. It's hard to comment on stuff like that, right? Because we don't know what DC isn't allowing anyone to do, right? Like, as far as we know, Chip did what he wanted.
Right.
We don't know what DC's status quo is. We could have a perceived status quo, but we don't know what their actual status quo is. It's an
'Cause
IP at this point.
It could lead somewhere, right? Like they have an idea for
Yeah.
a character, for whatever. Like there's something there that we're not privy to.
Yeah.
You could say that, like, you could definitely say for Spider-Man, they will not shake up the status quo as it relates to him and Mary Jane being married. That is in play because we've heard it from the horse's mouth. But outside of that, it's very difficult to know those kinds of things. Matt Fisher said a little bit before he dropped to 499, but he's not a civilian. Bruce's kid, whose granddad has a resurrection pit for Pete's sake. That's in reference to our chat about Alfred. Alfred will be back. No doubt about it.
The end credits bit.
Yeah. And the next Avengers.
Matt Fisher coming back with a 199, hit the wrong one. It's book of the week for me in reference to Absolute Superman. And then Louise bounced back with another 5 spot. Bringing Alfred back to life would take away any evolution Bruce and Damian had. Without Alfred, new relationships are possible.
I don't think that has to happen. Like, you can just write Alfred less. You can sort of wait. He can still exist, but you don't have to interact with him as much. Like, oh yeah, where's Alfred? He's cooking dinner. Yeah,
Well, what's the point then?
Oh.
Leave him dead. If you're gonna write him less, why bring him back?
I want to call it a comment here from Cole, if that's cool. Said, love seeing Jimmy and the Omega Men. Any guesses who is under the helmet for Omega Prime?
Nope.
No idea. And there wasn't any indication in like the way that she was talking, because it's gonna be a totally different team.
Lana Lang,
At
maybe?
Stags.
On the Lang.
Lois's
Nah.
mother, possibly?
Doesn't Lois have a sister?
I don't know.
Mr. Funniverse says, real question, how does this run compare to All-Star? I've never liked Superman, but have always wanted to read All-Star and thought it was good, but not impressed. Will Absolute finally do it? The run's not over, so we definitely can't say.
I also have to read All Star first to make that call.
I think All Star's way better than this. Sorry.
As it stands, yeah.
I mean, they're just such different beasts, though. On top of that, like this is an
Sure.
ongoing run
Yeah, absolutely.
that has not even gotten out the blocks really. Whereas All Star's a tight X amount of issues. It's not there's nothing there as far as a comparison.
I like this that Cole's saying. What if the Daily Planet cast is the Omega Men? That'd be goofy. Why not? Make it happen.
All right.
Yeah, Jason.
Oh man. Hecatron says, I wish we could get some podcasts about the comics and talk to creators and editors about these runs to get a better feel about why some of these stories turn out the way they do, like we get with TV. So I think the big problem with that, dude, is this is a small industry. And you can't say certain things and talk out of school because you still want to get work, you want to maintain relationships, and etc. Sometimes you will hear stuff like that. Like Chip talked on Comic Pop at length about some of the problems that existed during his Daredevil run, where he was doing art for multiple artists at once because he didn't know um, how the schedule would shake out, when Marco Cicchetto would be able to draw a book and whatever. And Joshua Williamson talked about a lot of those types of problems as well. So sometimes you will hear stuff like that, but it is hard to get stuff like that out of creators. Matt Fisher with 199. Any chance the pals will do Marvel Mutts next week?
Nope.
It's written by Mackenzie Cadenhead with art by Takeshi Miyazawa. Very good artist. Did some Miss Marvel.
I don't know, man. Next week is stacked.
You know
I
what?
can't.
Yeah, Marvel Mutts comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lockjaw, Bats, Lucky, and Cosmo. Come on.
Matt Fisher, you know what? We can't get it on the main docket, but for you, since you are amazing, we'll put it on the poll, and we'll let you guys fight it out. If you want it on the poll, or if you want it to win, I'll put it on the poll, and we'll see what can happen for you.
The old Marvel Mutts on a pole match.
There you
You
go.
better get in there and sell it.
Better.
Yeah, we'll do that for you. If you can like send me a reminder, I'll make it happen. Don't you worry about it. Okay. Let's get on to the next book. Let's talk. Oh, You know what? No, before we do that, real fast, didn't read off the poll results. Poll was 44% for Absolute Superman number 4. Pick of the week 34%. Didn't buy or read is 17%, and pass is 4%. So you guys are still loving it. That is overwhelming.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Birds of Prey number 18, written by Kelly Thompson, of course, with art by Juan Cabal, colors by Adriano Lucas, letters by Clayton Cowles. So the birds have got a new mission. We've had a rotating cast here for a while. But there are some major mainstay players, and so this is an issue where we do see our birds split up and go on two different missions. You have Barda and Black or Batgirl who go on one mission. Of course, those two are always fun to see do their thing together. And then Black Canary, her sister Sin, and who else went with them? No, it was just those two.
Just those two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just those two.
And they go on a separate mission. And so it's just seeing these teams sort of work out their stuff. Constantine is back in the mix. This was an interesting one. How did you guys feel about Birds of Prey? We haven't been talking about this too much lately.
I liked it, and I know that we praise Kelly Thompson all the time. Kelly Thompson does great dialogue, and that's kind of one of the standouts here. Like, these people feel lived in. These characters feel lived in. They feel like people, which is one of the best praises I can give Kelly on all of her work. But I think it's really evident in Birds of Prey, and why Birds of Prey is probably one of my favorite DC books right now. But I was really excited to see Juan Cabal, and he does some fun ass shit in this book. There's a couple panels. So at one point, Big Barda and Batgirl get sent on a little John Constantine side mission, and then Barda gets into like the Seam, which is this magic realm, and she has to fight these golems. And Juan Cabal is like, "Yo, I'm gonna play with some panels real quick." There's this one bit where Barda gets to swing, uses the white space of a panel as like a swinging bar to then kick through the panel. I'm like, this is why I like comics. This is why I read comics. Play with the medium. Play with the art. And I've been a Juan Cabal fan. You know, he worked on All New Wolverine, Tom Taylor's run, which I really enjoyed, and in Chip's Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I also really enjoyed. So I was excited to see him on this, and he did not disappoint at all. This is some great Cabal art. And I just think this just proves that, like, how this is just Birds of Prey continues to be just like a really, really fun book issue to issue.
I think to second on the Cabal art, there's even like subtle moments where when they first enter the Seam, they're on the rooftop. The panel, the space between the panels becomes the barrier, like the gate that you wouldn't jump over on the top of the building even. So like there's super subtle stuff that happens here. I think the initial fight and the initial like base felt very barren. There was a lot of just kind of like empty space, which at the start kind of had me a little not as engaged because things didn't feel as dynamic, especially compared to some of the art we've been seeing. But once it did pick up, it felt like there were moments where like the backgrounds felt very clean, and I don't mind that. I think that means that you're communicating something well in comics. It's not necessarily popping, but it's also not necessarily doing a lot for the characters in the foreground. Reminded me a little like the like Luna Brothers art, you know, very very simple, but also just not barren, but not necessarily accentuated. So that's to say the energy of the book, I think, was brought down a little bit with that, but the interesting stuff and the interesting panel work, I think, made up for some of it. And otherwise, I like the interaction between Sin and Dinah here. Like it was cool to see them, you know, kind of like talking about what they're doing, but really they're signing to each other a little bit slower because we are setting something up. But I didn't mind that because again, the interactions feel real.
Yeah, I really love the especially the dialogue in the scene in the cabin. Um and the way it caps off with you know, they're making a meal or whatever, and Oracle goes, "Oh, that's nice. I hope they get to at least finish the meal." And it's one of those meta things that we know. Oh no, they're definitely not going to get to, but it's also within the universe. It's like, oh, that's, we all know this thing that definitely isn't going to get to happen, but maybe this time.
We know what those knives are going to be used for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just Kelly has a way of making things like that, like normalizing the superhero life, that just it really feels good when she does it.
It did feel a little maybe over the top with Barda playing video games and stuff. Like that felt a little like Teen Titans, the OG animated show, Beast Boy Cyborg kind of interaction.
Oh,
I,
women
I
can't play
didn't.
video games, Marco?
I'm just saying I didn't buy it.
Well, you sure liked it when Tom King did it with Wonder Woman.
No, oh my god. And but that like is the only moment where that pulled me out for a second because for some reason I couldn't suspend my disbelief there.
My reaction was, those controllers like $80. Come on, Barda.
For real.
I thought that was hilarious, man. Barda breaking that controller because she was getting smoked. First of all, I've seen that. Second of all, I've caused that. Third of all, I just think Barda is the person to do that with. And, Kelly has consistently written arguably the best Barda I've read. Not that I've read a lot of Barda, but she just has a very unique voice for her and understands the way that she can be strong and fierce, but also playful, and not always playful in a way that's deliberately so.
Yeah.
But it ends up with an endearing quality that I really like. I will say, like, I enjoyed this issue. I thought it was real strong. Um, I'm getting like I need a through line. I need there to be a larger story. And it felt like we had one for a while, but now we don't, and it feels like we're just kind of going from arc to arc, and there's nothing carrying forward.
That's yeah, that is one thing I noted, is that I don't remember what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal with Sin? She's very clearly engine, right? But like, what does that mean?
Where's the engine going?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I think that maybe we're gonna get that setup here, or it's my mind is this is the setup to get that setup, but I would much have rather had it start already. Like I would want that momentum to begin running versus, hey, let's have little fun moments which are great, but um to that through line piece, let's start walking towards it.
Real quick, I want to say thank you to the phenomenal AC, who, I say this affectionately, puts his money where his mouth is. He's always talking so amazingly about us, and now he has decided to join us as a
Wow.
channel member on the VI Pal tier. Thank you so much for that. Enjoy your timed exclusive videos and some exclusives like our Pen Pals videos we've been putting out. Tomorrow, you're going to have a brand new video to check out as well. So you guys that are channel members can look forward to that. Our non-channel members can look forward to it too, though, because we always put out something on Fridays for both camps. So you guys will be fed. And thank you for all the pals heads in the chat. I'd love to see it.
And just on that phenomenal AC part, the message before that, Comics Pals, keep me up to date while I spend all my money on Omnis. Appreciate all you do, fellas. Don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you so
Smash.
much.
Hell
Heard
yeah.
the man.
Birds of Prey will be a good Omni once it comes out. It's 10 years from now.
I wanted to call it the Barda, and just like pushing a small bat around, just like, yeah, we're going this way. I can't believe they did this. Let's go this way. Those interactions were really cute, and a lot of fun. Again, those like strong Kelly moments.
Also, the interaction between Black Canary and Sin, where Kelly Thompson brings back the idea that she introduced in Scarlet, of Scarlet and her best friend using sign language, or a unique to them language via sign that allows them to communicate non-verbally. I thought that was really cool. It's cool. Like, I don't mind that Kelly's doing it again, because I like to see writers use the same ideas multiple times, and I thought it was very effective here and well done. It gives it gives more credence to their relationship.
And there's the added bit too to throw off the people that are attacking them because they're talking about dinner beforehand,
Yeah.
so it looks like they're unawares the entire time. And I thought, like, this is like is good spy shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're similar enough characters too between the two titles, so it's not like way out of the realm of possibility.
Lucas Hallner, member for 2 months, re-upping his channel membership at the VI Pal tier. First live I've caught relaxed in a chair. Been at work the past 7 streams. Finally got my hours changed though. Loving the stream. Lucas, thank you, dude. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you re-upping. Thank you so much, bro. And I by the way, for those of you who don't know, we were live this past Tuesday to talk Fantastic Four, the trailer that dropped. So we've got an hour, almost 2 hours worth of thoughts on there. Go check it out if you haven't. Lucas decided he wanted to make a bet with me about whether or not I would crash out on Marco during the stream, which means losing on him, and I did not. So Lucas owes me a signed comic, and I can't wait to receive it. I want it signed by him. I want things signed by the listeners. Fuck the affectionately. Fuck the creator, right? I want it signed by the listener.
You sound like Disney.
That's how I mark my victories.
I like how Lucas marks time by streams. 7 streams ago.
I love that Lucas is dedicated enough that he got his hours changed at work so he could be here.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
The rest of y'all didn't do that.
That's a beautiful
Marco
thing. Well,
sometimes can't do that.
Damn. Damn, not wrong.
Green flag for Lucas and a green flag for this comic. I say pull.
Well,
Easy pull. Yeah.
Awesome. Roger Hernandez says, finally able to be at a stream for the first time in a while. Let's go. Watching while doing my Calculus 2 homework, though. Yeah, that is pretty heartbreaking, dude. A, good luck. B, I'm sorry. And C, if you need help, Marco can help you.
Yeah, where you at? Where you at in Calc?
Roger, the answer is 69. Just,
Definitely not.
well, it's not been the answer for you and I sometimes, Marco.
Well, not wrong.
Meyer HQ says, bro had to translate what crash out means to the 50-plus-year-olds balding men. Hey, listen, dude.
hey,
we
I'm
don't
not
all
balding.
we don't all have the same culture. You know what I mean? Like we're all, even those of us who are young, right? We just might not have heard that phrase before.
I say shit on the show that Sean has no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but that's because you say weird ass shit.
'Cause you
Oh,
nasty.
a little bit.
Uncanny Suit says Sean gonna piss off Rob Liefeld if he keeps talking about creators like that. Oh, we done burn that bridge. We didn't even do anything.
We did nothing.
You guys
We
must
did
have got
nothing.
caught in like a ban list or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah, some-
I'd love to get him on the show.
Too late.
He's got his own
yeah, we
show
can't
now.
even reach
Yeah.
out anymore.
Make a burner.
Yeah, that's right.
It's bullshit. Near says, I'll do a bet too. Okay, well, what's your bet?
Damn, dude.
What-
You got
what are the-
gamblers.
What do you want to bet? And what do I win?
You
when
bunch
I
of
win?
degenerates. Come on, guys.
What do you want to bet and put it on Kalshi?
Put it on what?
Kalshi?
Isn't it like an
Kalshi?
app?
It's an app that you can like bet on it, literally anything.
Yeah, it's like prop bets for whatever.
For literally anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a prop bet going for my second marriage.
Oh my
I want
God.
in on it. Ooh, Roger Hernandez. I'm on integrals right now. Wanna cry. Do those differentials, bro.
Can you translate that one like Sean did, Marco?
Quadratic equations.
No, we're past that.
See, but that's the difference. I'll say some shit that people might not understand. I'll explain it. Marco is just going to throw out some fucking phrase that makes no sense at all. We're like, eh?
Of course it does.
No, it doesn't.
Areas under a curve. That's all it is.
I might have known it years ago, Marco, but that has long been gone.
Guys, that's all it is.
Oh yeah,
Right.
areas under a curve.
Thank you.
Too
So
bad Marco can't get under that curve.
Hey,
yo,
yo. Slip right in there.
Birds of Prey number 18. 60% of you didn't buy or read. Polls 28%. Pass is 5%. Pick of the
Wow.
week 5%. So a lot of you not reading this.
I think
Damn.
y'all
Not
are
reading
sleeping
it.
on this. Really, this is like good homemade cooking comics.
Yeah.
It's been all due respect to Kelly. Obviously, we love Kelly. This is a Kelly Thompson fan podcast. Has this book sort of started to wear out its steam?
For me, it's kind of gotten comfortable, if that makes sense. It's not breaking the mold at all, but it's comfort in the same way I feel like Gail Simone's Secret Six wound up becoming. Where it's like, oh, these are characters I really love and I like being with them. But it's not, an event book. It's not trying to be some bombastic story. It kind of just lives. You're just living with the characters, and I think that's a flavor of comics that I don't get often in DC anymore, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Like it has hit its early stride, and now uh it has a baseline that is consistent, and that consistency I think makes it a comic you want to come back and pick up.
I'm worried. I'm worried. I feel like when you've got the hot hand, you got to roll with it and you can't get complacent. And I don't want to, I'm not accusing Kelly of complacency, but I need to see that there's something bigger and more epic that's coming in order for me to be enthusiastic about the book. And when I stop being, I've dropped books I liked just because I wasn't enthusiastic about them anymore. And I don't want to get to that place with this.
Mm. Yeah,
But yeah, go ahead.
so I was just saying, Luna says it's a nice sitcom book. I don't know if it's a favorable comparison, but
I don't think it
But-
is.
I understand. I understand the sentiment.
But with a sitcom, it's like, you'll come back for the, every now and then to, check in, see what's going on. But for a comic book, like that's gonna, if you do that, that's gonna kill the book.
Yeah.
60% of the audience didn't buy it.
Right. Need those numbers.
There's a reason. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like we all want to say how great the book is, and obviously we all think it's really strong, but this isn't an echo chamber. We're supposed to be able to, acknowledge some flaws too, and we want people to buy the book. It's not enough to put out a book people like, you got to put out a people want to buy. But let's move forward to the book that, speaking of things you guys want, the book that you guys wanted us to read this week on Pals Pulls, JSA number 4 won our most recent listener pick poll, which you guys can catch youtube.com/the comics pals under the posts tab. It changed from community to posts, so look for that. We've got one up now, so make sure you vote in it. This poll goes up every Thursday at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. Eastern, excuse me. Weapon X-Men number 1 is on it. Doom Academy number 1 is on it. The Power Fantasy number 6 is on it. And Green Lantern Corps number 1 is on it, which is winning by a landslide.
Damn.
You can change that if you want to by going over and voting.
At the posts section of the channel now, not the community tab member, but the posts section, which we will link momentarily.
Talk about an echo chamber.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it. Before we get to the book, Matt Fisher with the $9.99. Birds of Prey was dropped because there is too much I'm reading with ongoing threads to justify keeping it. I have a hard enough time keeping up with the stuff I do read. The last arc seemed like a good ending. And I think that's part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
It's like you got to make sure that you're giving people a reason to go, that last arc makes me want to come back for the next one. And there's a very competitive time in comics right now. The book we're about to talk about, JSA, I think JSA is fucking crazy good. I think this book has been stellar. And not that many people are talking about it. It's just a really hard time. I think if Birds of Prey was on the docket for DC 4 years ago, people wouldn't be able to shut up about it. But it's not the DC of 4 years ago. All right, JSA number 4. This is written by Jeff Lemire, with art in this issue by Joey Vasquez, colors by Luis Guerrero, letters by Steve Wands. And so the JSA have been fighting with the Injustice Society pretty much from the word go. They've fallen for almost every trap that their enemies have set, and a lot of that is because they've been having an internal conflict amongst themselves between, the older members and the newer guard and all this different kind of stuff. And a couple of the members now are literally trapped by the Injustice Society. And this issue is about seeing, how they deal with being in these clutches, so to speak. How did you guys feel about this issue of JSA?
You've been hot on it. How have you been like riding this momentum?
So I've loved every issue. This one wasn't as good to me as the others, and it's because of the fact that I just felt like the JSA members that got captured get out way too easily.
Okay.
I really dislike that. Like Midnighter, they keep him in. I think that's Midnighter. They keep him in a well lit room because they don't want him to see darkness and like be reminded of who he is and get out. But it was just so easy for him to, oh, whoa, I see some darkness, I'm out. It didn't. I feel like they removed the heat because they get out so easily.
That was Obsidian, right?
Obsidian.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
But he doesn't get out. That was fake, right? Because when he goes to see the real one, he's like attached with all the brain things.
He is at least out in the mindscape of, he's out of that certain part of the mindscape.
Right.
There's still a maze
Yeah.
to be had, but at least he sees the maze now.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah,
that was
sure.
like purely like a construct.
And then the earlier girl whose name I'm forgetting at the
Dr.
moment.
Midnight.
Dr. Midnight.
Thank you. She escaped from Grundy pretty easily too. So yeah, I was just like, oh man. And also, we largely only focused on those characters, so I was missing the fullness of the roster. This issue for me went by really fast and just felt like nothing really happened.
The issue for me in this issue is that I don't have a lot of knowledge on JSA members. So halfway through this issue, I'm like, oh, she's blind. And I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, it was a crisis on a crisis in Infinite Earths or Infinite Crisis situation where something happened. She became blind. She could see night. She can see at night though. So I was like, oh, okay, that would have been nice to know. But I'm also like, that kind of feels good to not know that and have to do the research, because it's like, oh, this is a DC comic book. There's so much lore and history that I am kind of thrown in here, and I like that, because I think comics are so preoccupied with being, I guess, new reader friendly at some point. So I'm kind of excited to see a book where I have to work for it a bit.
Well, they told us multiple times that she was blind.
I didn't catch it. I mean, I caught it in the issue, but like I didn't know that
Right.
going into the issue.
Well, because she had her goggles, and it worked, right? She was without her goggles in this one, and that's why like the reason arose.
Sure. Yep. Otherwise, I thought it was a good issue. Like, I'm having fun with this. This is it's the same reason I liked what was Black Hammer that Jeff Lemire did with I believe Dark Horse.
Yeah.
He just has a good handle for like just classic Silver Age storytelling, but in a modern way. And then doing JSA is what he was kind of meant to do, and it just feels good. And I think the Vasquez art is just really, it's cartoony. I've read issue 3 at the same time. That was or like Tigui, but they're very complementary art styles. It feels like a cartoon, and the story is also kind of goofy like a cartoon. It's got this hokiness to it that just feels like good classic DC, and it's fun. It's scratching an itch that I don't get often in comics nowadays, and that's nice to read.
Yeah, like the villains are a little like over the top, mustache twirly, which is fun. I agree with that.
Grundy makes a joke. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm ashamed of myself." Like stupid stuff like that is great.
Grundy feels shame. Yeah.
Yo, when that one guy, the one villain who's like a ghost or whatever, who can go into the afterlife,
Gentleman Ghost?
that guy was awesome. I don't know if I've ever seen him before this run, and man, he was cool.
I know
What?
about him from Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon.
Same, yeah.
Even, geez, even since I've been reading, ancient DC, I've only seen him like 3 times. Like,
My man said, "There is not a soul, dead or alive, that Jim Craddock cannot find, sir. Consider it done." And you know what? I believed him. And that is missing from comics with villains. Like, say some shit I can believe in. Say it with your chest. He believed in himself. I like that.
And like from the cartoon, he sounds like a Charles Dickens character. So it's even better if you read it in that way.
Little English twang to it.
Mark
Yeah.
Mark Twain ass.
Dude
Yeah,
probably says
yeah.
tally ho or some shit, you know?
Cheerio.
There is not a soul dead or alive that Jim Craddock cannot find, sir.
Hell yeah.
I think, yeah. Go ahead, Marco.
Sorry, I think the overall assessment of this being just the two characters slows a little bit of the momentum down that we've seen from issue 3. We don't have as much of the drama, but that only means that this being strong means that 5 and 6 coming will be stronger because we'll have some of those things come back. We'll see the resolution of what's going on in that other kind of like close to hell, how some of those people end up escaping as well. So I think it was good and smart to start with all of the characters and then slowly start to segment people because you get to focus on them in certain issues. So maybe this might just not have been as compelling a duo to focus on as opposed to some of the ones that come up or will be coming up.
Yeah, I would honestly say that to this point, JSA is one of my probably top 5 favorite all-in books. Like as far as these first arcs, I have been loving this book a lot, and these are characters I don't know about at all. So that's hats off to Jeff Lemire for his storytelling. The art has been consistently strong, even though it hasn't been consistent as far as who's doing it. We're 4 issues in, and we already have a different artist on the piece. But yeah, I think JSA has been great, and I pull on this.
Cale, based off of Sean's reaction of this so far, how do you think going back to Jeff Johns' JSA would fare for him? Because I feel like there could be there's stuff in there that will work and will tickle Sean in similar ways to this, but there's also a little more not hokiness, but it can get a little more serious.
Yeah, I would say that there's more baggage with that. Because even like the great stuff that I've read, like, I was reading with trades that would just drop off the face of the earth. But it was still good. But like I'd pick up the next one and who knows what the hell was going on. And I just don't I don't think it's gonna be so friendly.
I will say, we haven't done a Jeff Johns book club yet. That's something that we could tackle down the line.
Oh,
I don't think it'll be JSA.
Very true.
What are we going to read?
Dagger.
Green Lantern Rebirth? Come on.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it'd probably be that.
yeah,
I would love that.
pull, strong pull. This was a contender for pick of the week.
Did Cale and Tyler pull?
Pull for me. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So let's wrap that poll up and let's see what you guys have to say. 54% of you say pull. That's great. Didn't buy or read is 35%. Pass is 9%, and pick of the week is 0. Yeah, like I said, I definitely think this is one of the stronger offerings in the all-in era, but money is tight and people are worried about looming situations, and we're making cuts. And I could say for myself that this is not on the chopping block for me.
And
Not at all.
not for
No
our
way.
listeners, too. That 54 is much bigger than I thought it would be, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like people are spending money on this and not Birds of Prey.
And
Exactly.
that's a competition.
We'll
Yeah,
see
that
what
is a
JSA is
competition.
like in issue 18. Okay.
That's true. That is also
Sure.
true.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are you guys saying? Dan says Sean would be down for the Johns JSA. I mean, it's Jeff Johns. I'll read anything Jeff Johns does. I haven't really been disappointed by anything that the man has done. Aaron Ruiz, wait, Gentleman Ghost showed up? Damn, I may have to pick this issue up. See? Look at what you're missing. Gentleman Ghost. James Jones, Jeff Lemire is killing it on JSA, Minor Arcana, and Black Hammer Spiral City. I dropped Minor Arcana.
I like to read Jeff's indie stuff collected, so I don't think it's there yet.
Jeff's indie stuff hasn't hit for me in a while.
No.
But if there's buzz around it, I might check it out. Outside of like Black Hammer, it's been a while.
Yeah. Fish Flies was pretty good. But I don't think that's done either. So
Roger Hernandez says, if I wasn't pushing 40 pulls, I would so add this to my pull list, but I'm reading way too many books right now. I got to save money somewhere. That's what we're talking about. That's
Bro,
the dilemma.
You got homework to do. You can't be reading all these books.
he replied to that. He said, "Bro, I just did 13 lines of work for the answer of 2. I'm so cooked, bro. Watch this shit on the replay, bro."
This dude's doing the calculus of his pull list when he should be doing the calculus of his homework instead.
And you're a student. How do you have all this money? 40 pulls.
Student loan money can be used for whatever. It's a loan.
That's
Oh,
right.
true.
No one takes account.
You'll regret it, but you're right to do it.
All right, let's talk about Ultimates number 9. Ultimates number 9. This is written by Dennis Camp with a special guest artist. And right away, one of the things I like about this book in particular is when they have a guest artist, they label it as special guest artist or something of that effect. Yeah, it says guest artist in the book. So that keeps in your mind, like, this is not the normal artist. This is a special thing that we're doing. So I did like that, with colors by Federico Blee and letters by Travis Lanham. Everybody's been looking forward to this issue. It's got Luke Cage on the cover, behind bars, so based on Dennis Camp's reputation, he's going to bring some heat. And this issue takes place across essentially three timelines, you could say. One is the early days of Luke Cage being arrested and being imprisoned, incarcerated. The second is like the year before main time, which is February, and then we also see February 2025. So it's February 2025, current month. There's a flashback to February 2024 where he meets Iron Lad, and then a further flashback that carries through to from when he was first arrested and the intervening years. And we see the brutality he endured. We see, the trials and tribulations of being incarcerated, especially in this world. And we see the way that he rises above those challenges to become something that looks very different, but also at the same time familiar to mainline Luke Cage. Tyler, what'd you make of this one?
Pick of the week. I love this.
Got it.
I loved the way it kind of told the story throughout time. I didn't find it confusing. It's pretty clear. Each panel's like, here's the year, and you can see the progression of this version of Luke Cage's life from what was he like in his teenager when we first see him?
15?
Yeah, 15. And he, he's in the prison system. And this is Dennis Camp's thesis on the prison industrial complex as told by way of the Maker's Ultimate Universe. And it fucking hit hard. It does two things. It also tells progresses the Ultimate Universe story, because there was that question I've always had in my head where Tony Stark gave out those orbs to everyone that should have had powers. It felt like we didn't get too many of them, and that was a thing early on where like Shocker got a thing, but it kind of dropped off. And then I always thought, like, who else got stuff? And it's nice to see that behind the scenes that was still a thing. So this Luke Cage gets the power of Luke Cage of unbreakable skin, super strength. But also it's just a one and done story about a guy who is trying to fight for a cause bigger than himself. And I think it really is a realistic story. It was great to see Chris Allen on it. Chris Allen, a black artist, worked on Sam Wilson Captain America, worked on Black Panther as well, as a special guest, and is to tell this story because I think that's important too. And man, it was nice to see a Luke Cage story too. It's been so long to actually see a Luke Cage story. I mean, I can't speak enough about this issue. This is one of those things that Dennis Camp does where it's like, all right, here's a one and done issue that's gonna punch you in the gut, and you're gonna sit with it for a little bit. And I loved it. That was great.
I like that I like the twist on how he gets his powers. You know, originally it was in that sort of blaxploitation genre of comic book where, the experiment happens to Luke Cage, and then, he goes out to, the black parts of New York City, and now he's the hero, right? But here the powers such a footnote. And it takes the that trope of like the unbreakable black hero, and it makes him it puts his power in his mind, and it helps him organize, and it helps him, you know uh, show that the real power is collective.
The superpowers is just a cherry on top. Like throughout the story, we
Yeah.
see his origin. We see his power is knowledge and education, and connecting with people, connecting with different types of people, and then
Yeah.
becoming a leader for that. That's his real power. The bulletproof skin is just an added benefit that makes him a superhero when he was already a hero.
And it's that's even that point is such an interesting twist and observation of Luke Cage in the Marvel universe, because I think that's true.
There's also the mention of like I think the unbreakable power, like the bulletproof power, all of that is, like you said, the cherry on top, because, and there's a comment made, he is unbreakable. He is unyielding in his belief. He's unyielding in his mission. There that you can't get him um, to change you can't get to change that mind, because it's elevated. And uh, so I think that being the comparison point, that's where like the flip is the mind's already unbreakable, the heart's already unbreakable. What else can you do to make him more of a symbol?
I had I had a I have really complicated feelings about this comic. This is it tackles a subject that is very important to me. Incarcerated people, people who are wrongfully convicted. That is something that I care a lot about. And the treatment of people who are in prison is, generally speaking, horrific. And this book isn't necessarily presenting anything that doesn't really happen in terms of like prison beatings and some of the conditions and things like that. I think that it's a really, really good book. It's my pick of the week, but I also was disappointed because there are some things that are missing that are really important that should have been addressed, and there are some things that are here that shouldn't be here. One of those is that Luke Cage, on the first page, he's he's told that he's getting a year to life, doesn't know what he's convicted of, and his lawyer doesn't either, and that's just what it is. That takes it from a place of reality and puts it in a place of unreality. He's a wrongfully convicted, incarcerated person, but if you're just saying he's convicted because who knows why, because he was always going to be a criminal or whatever, I don't think that point was made very well. I really wish there had been a reason, and we had seen the system fail him, and we had seen some of the bullshit that gets pulled to bring a person to prison for something that they were accused of that they didn't do. I think the idea of just because remove some of the sting. I also think this issue could have gone a lot further. I think that there wasn't enough space to show everything they needed to show. Um, I really, really feel like this could have gone so much further. There are a lot of times where it just feels like Dennis Camp waxing poetic about the wrongs and ills of the prison industrial complex, but this is a show don't tell medium, and I needed more striking imagery. I needed it to punch harder and to land more. I just don't think it went far enough. I've watched Oz, I've watched The Wire. I've listened to a lot of podcasts about this kind of problem and this issue and watched documentaries. I really care about it. And this felt like baby's first talk about this and first vision of it. And I wanted it to be more.
I found because there's some comments in here about the 1 year to life bit of it and how that kind of just comes out of nowhere. I think this Ultimate Universe is set in a more of a dystopian. It's the next step of what our world can be. That's what it's always been, and this prison is no longer doing the subtext of what our real life at prison industrial complex is. This states that it is for profit. We know it's for profit, but it's not clearly stated in real life. So this book is the next step. This is a highly capitalistic society where this is just ways of getting people to be, legal slaves, really. And it says that clearly in it. Blue Spaceman in the chat says it's not subtle. It's not a subtle book. The world's not subtle. So having that set in this world, that 1 year to life thing was like, oh, yep, that's just the next step for us. It doesn't make sense really in a real life context, but it made sense to me in an Ultimate Universe context. Yes, I agree. There is good storytelling that could be had with that story, but this is one issue. So maybe it didn't have the space for it here.
Yeah, I guess if it's not going to come back to this, then maybe it's hard to go deeper without a longer lead. Like if we come back for another issue, having the groundwork of the origin of this character in this setting, then maybe some of that can get done a little bit more.
Well, here's the thing. I see this having, like, unlike the Guardians of the Galaxy issue that we had, where it's like, where did that go? Where are we going with that? I can see the through line with Luke Cage. He's almost like not antithetical to the Ultimates, but he is a man of collecting people and getting the people and the civilians on your side and collective forming and stuff like that, where the Ultimates are kind of always on the reactionary side of things, where Luke could possibly be more proactive. Again, I'm doing conjecture on something that could potentially never happen. He might just be doing this, and that's his character, and that's the last we'll see of him.
But I think he is doing exactly the same thing they're doing. He's banding together a group of people who are accused of being bad, who aren't, to fight the evil empire. He's doing the exact same thing they're doing.
But there's a distinction made where he's doing it within the bounds within the confines of the system still, and
Yeah.
that as opposed to what the Ultimates are doing, especially when he gets offered the role, he's like, no, I'm going to do it from within, because the dismantling from within, even if there is a disadvantage, or there will never be an advantage, is a maybe more symbolic, meaningful way for the layperson who he has helped rise up through organization.
I can see that, but again, they're both radically, taking the system down. And I think that his mission is lockstep in line with theirs and what they want to see happen. And so I was really glad that Iron Lad not only gave him his powers, but then later came back and said, "Oh wow, you're doing some good stuff. Do you want to come join the Ultimates?" And he basically gives him the "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing," which I appreciated. And then I read this issue again, and I realized that what we're seeing in February 2025 on the second page is actually, even though it's presented on that page, it actually takes place much later on. And it helps us to establish that he's been going to these prisons and causing these riots, which I really liked. However, I also had to ask myself, how did they not realize that they just brought in the guy who caused the last riot?
Well, I guess I took that as he is still doing time, and so you have to now that this oh well shit we don't have this prison anymore. Now we have to redistribute that. He is still legally bound, I guess, to serve time. And I guess that you can't necessarily. Well, I'm sure you could find some way to just isolate him, but he's put back through the same system because well he's dismantled one, but as he does, more will rise.
I really like the way that this issue shows how prison goes for a lot of people. You go in there, you're not the biggest guy, not the strongest guy, and one of the things that you do is you bulk up. You go to the gym when you're in the yard, you pump iron, you get bigger and stronger. You can see the progression of Luke Cage's body as he gets stronger throughout the years, throughout the issues. And I like that we can see him physically and mentally dedicating himself to self improvement, which is supposed to be the point of prison. It's supposed to be rehabilitation, bettering yourself. Of course, that isn't what happens. But again, I wish there had been a way to show that what Luke was doing was atypical, I guess.
Unique.
Yeah.
I see.
The closest it goes to showing it is when we see early on there's like a shipping incident that he stops. So like the inmates are scattered, there's gangs and stuff, but then towards the tail end of that, they're all sitting at a table together.
Yeah.
That's the most of that kind of progression that we see, I think.
I also had a big problem with the fact that they don't discuss, like, there's no nuance. It's just, and this is like my real feelings, real life feelings. There's no nuance here. Luke Cage says everybody needs to be free. But no, not everybody needs to be free. There are some people who might be locked up who are awful people that should never see the light of day again. And Luke Cage frees everybody. And that is extremely irresponsible. And I wish that the book had cared to address that. It's not true that everybody in prison shouldn't be there. It is true that they should be treated better. It is true that conditions should be improved. But there are some people who do not need to be a part of society. And Luke Cage is an outlier in that.
And I think that's the issue with the one shot. It's that nuance is tricky where it just says, all right, I'm going to tackle the systematic issues of the prison system, and I'm going to paint with that big brush, where it doesn't get to tackle nuance like that.
That makes it weaker for me. And it's still my pick of the week. But I wanted to make sure I focused more on the negative, quote unquote, negative, complicated feelings, because I already know everybody's going to say how great this is. But I think there's more to the story than that. And I needed to be the person to bring that up.
Will it be disappointing to eventually see Luke join up with the other Ultimates in a big superhero brouhaha after trying to put him in this this delicate, poignant situation in this book? um will that feel um I don't know, wasted, less relevant? um do you understand what I'm asking?
This almost felt like just a peek into what the universe could be, and I wouldn't be surprised if we never see the character again. Um, I think what I want out of this is ultimate Luke Cage #1. But yeah, like, do you go for something that's critiquing a real world issue to CGI fight, and does that take away from?
Right.
I don't know if it takes away, but it's not what I want to see.
I kind of feel like the direction is probably that either we can be left to the idea that Luke Cage is cleaning up the streets in his own way, or there will be some kind of a mini down the road that will show that maybe him and Danny Rand, because Danny Rand is in this. He's got to get his powers theoretically, so maybe they will team up and do this on a bigger scale. Maybe they'll start like how we have the Hand. Maybe they'll start a resistance group to that, and there could be a street level thing there. But I don't think his destiny is to just be a member of the team.
Will he get his powers though? Because isn't Hulk Iron Fist in this world?
True.
Something
Yeah,
like
we
Yeah,
got the
so-
the
yeah,
Kunlun.
he has
Kunlun,
right.
yeah.
So he's just a guy. He's just a dude.
Danny's just token white dude.
Either way, though. No, we're not done yet because we didn't talk about the Chris Allen art. The 9-panel grid for this, genius decision. It perfectly emulates. It's used in this way with the white in between on the gutters to simulate prison bars, which was genius. Very smart. This in particular was an effective 3-panel piece where it looks like they're in bars on our end and behind them. So they're completely boxed in, which I thought was really cool. It breaks the convention of the 9-panel grid when it needs to, particularly towards the end, which I thought was really smart because Luke Cage is breaking the walls down. So Luke Cage breaks the conventions of the book. In fact, I think I can prove it because the first time it breaks that is with this splash where we see him in beast mode, now having gotten his powers.
Yep.
All hell is going to break loose. He's breaking out, and I don't think we see the 9-panel grid again. Well, we do, but it's not with him. It's with She-Hulk later.
Yeah, it pops up again, but the to your point, the convention is broken. Like walls are being broken down because you start to see square or more rectangular panels that are horizontal.
And the only time Sean brought up, the only time that we see it again is with She-Hulk because she's in her own prison
Right.
of
Yeah.
the Ultimates making. She cannot leave there. So it was a nice thematic through line to bring us back to the main story that we're having.
Yeah, super super good. And it just makes sense. I think also the use of inks, like to really just shadow everything, helps make I think the mood of the book a little bit more grim. But the colors never make it so that it's dark. It feels like impossible. It's still it is still doable. It's still realistic.
Yeah. Double green flag for me. This is my pick of the week. It's the Ultimates. That doesn't mean it's not critiquable. That doesn't mean I'm not going to come and say my piece. But ultimately, I do think this was the best book that I read this week. I think the timing of this issue's release was a little bit problematic for me, at least, as well, just because. Well, I'm not talking about the Black History Month elephant in the room. Probably shouldn't have used the word problematic because it's loaded. I just meant like we had the Guardians issue and then this one. So like it's two back-to-back issues that aren't really that focused on the Ultimates core. That's all I meant. I didn't mean anything nefarious.
This issue could happen at any point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
The
It just so
Guardians
happened.
the Guardians issue is all about the visit America and the Ultimates.
Well, what I mean is like it's not focused on the task at hand. Like they go to a
sure.
random
Okay.
forest and yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Poll, not pick of the week.
Okay.
Interesting.
I have high hopes for the future. Sorry, Tyler. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that's interesting. That's not his pick of the week. It's mine.
Yeah.
And I'm
Got
excited.
you. I got Sean. I've gotten everybody so far tonight.
Have you
It's an
gotten
Ultimates
Cale?
night.
Have you gotten Cale? Cale, was this your pick of the week?
This was, yeah.
Okay.
Let's go. Easy
It's
money.
Ultimates.
Easy money,
It's
dude.
yeah, that's a safe bet.
The only one that I got wrong was Batman 157 with Tyler. I thought he would still pull it.
Well, the audience pulled this at 46%. Didn't buy or read is 25%. Pick of the week is 20%, and 7% said pass. Why did you pass? I would love to know.
Why did you not read this?
We have a DC audience, you know. So,
Oh, no,
but like if you add up the poll and pick of the week, that's 66%. So like
Yeah.
that's still majority of our viewership is reading this.
Cole says the Red Skull Punisher gang won't exactly be subtle either. You know, I'm not bothered by the lack of subtlety. I think no one should expect subtlety from Dennis Camp at this point. Like he's shown that this is not a subtle book. It's not a lack of subtlety, it's a lack of the way it was expressed was so matter of fact that it took the art out of it for me, and not the visual art of it. It took away the art of like a person telling a story, and that's what I was missing. I was also missing. I felt like it didn't go far enough. I don't want it to be subtle at all. I don't think there should be subtlety when it comes to issues like this. I think it should be hard and to the point. I just felt like there was a more creative way to tell that.
I like the lack of subtlety in Dennis Camp's Ultimate stuff. Because if you're subtle, then that message can get muddied.
Yeah.
Dennis Camp's not doesn't want his message to get muddied. His message is clear throughout it, and I appreciate that. And especially like in superheroes aren't subtle most of the time, so why should the message be subtle too?
Yeah.
They're bright undies.
Style So Serious says, nah, keep it real. This is the Black History Ultimates release. 1000%. Yeah, it is. There's no doubt about it. But what are you going to do? Uncanny Suit says, we saw the last Ultimate Universe how one writer can topple continuity with a few bad stories. Rushing through the intricacies of the maker's world to get to what's next would be a huge mistake. I don't think, I mean, we all know the timeline we're on, right? You know, like we have our destination in place. I'm not personally in a rush for anybody to go there because we know when we're getting there. But the in between stuff has to be compelling.
Yeah, and I still have worries about the whole maker of it all. The whole idea of this actual timer happening is kind of, I hate knowing that in my head sometimes.
It's working. It's yeah. See,
unless
you
you're reading
know,
Spider-Man.
seeing that. Well, I mean specifically the the 12 months remaining or whatever, that counter, especially on Ultimates, is like, ooh, oh boy.
Every single time that counter pops up in Ultimates, I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no.
These
Like,
guys
are they
ain't
gonna be
ready.
ready?
Especially
It's
after
the
they got
only-
chumped out to the Hulk, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, dude. It feels like when you're getting closer to like the gym in Pokemon, and you're like, damn, my Pokemon are not at the right level right now.
That's
I
a
need
skill
to go
issue for
grind.
you. I'm sorry. Go
I need to
kill a
go
couple more
grind.
Pidgeys. It feels like a Majora's Mask. Like the
That
mood.
shit felt like Elden Ring. When you first pop out of an Elden Ring, you're like, yay, I'm a new character. I love this game. And then you fuck around and hit the wrong NPC and they murder you. And then when you resurrect, they murder you again and they camp your fucking grave. I never threw my controller
Damn.
more times for a video game than Elden Ring. And I got to imagine that is how the Ultimates felt, getting smoked by the Incredible Hulk.
Sean was having trouble with that Tree Sentinel.
Nah, it wasn't even the Tree Sentinel. It was literally the very first NPC that you see coming out of that first area. The old dude who's just standing there. I fucked around and hit him, and then he corpse camped me, and it took me about 2 hours to finally kill him because he wouldn't stop trying to kill me.
That's funny that you attacked him, actually.
Yeah, you know. Phenomenal AC says, I might break my rule and pick Ultimates up. I seriously only read Omnis, but y'all sold me on this book. I'll read it and then gift it to my nephew. I love that. First of all, I
Nice.
love that we sold you on it. I'm hyped for that. But second of all, you're going to gift it to your nephew. You're paying it forward. That's a beautiful thing.
And the first trade just came out like a month ago. So good time to pick that up.
Oh, that long?
25 smackers, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right.
At least here in the U.S. Everybody's upset about the price point.
Well, one guy's upset about the price point.
Somebody is.
Fair. Fair. All right. Let's get into our last book of the night. That being Kaya. Kaya number 25. This is by Wes Craig. Wes Craig does the art and the writing. But he is joined, as ever, by And World Designs and Wordy. Jesse Lonergan has a backup in this. So this is actually a standalone issue. Every 6 issues, every arc, they do a standalone issue to denote the end of the arc. And, they're kind of a nice jumping on point, kind of a nice check-in point. And I thought this would be a decent one to check out. I didn't know what the contents would be when we put it on the docket. But essentially what this issue is showing us is that, you know, these characters are on the back foot. The robot army is taking over this world. And Kaya and her brother, they're on the run. They've interacted with a lot of these creatures who are all under thumb, and a specific group of them is tired of that shit. They're tired of being under thumb. They're tired of the robots. They're tired of the wars. And so they seek an ancient power that hasn't existed in this world for many years, but now it does, and shit is about to get very real. They resurrect a dragon. And if you've never read Kaya before, that's pretty crazy because the dominant force is robots. So now, on one hand, you've got robots. On the other hand, you've got a fucking dragon. And in the middle, you've got Kaya with her robot magic arm and her brother who can turn into any creature. So it's going to be really interesting to see when he turns into a fucking dragon. What did you guys think about this as people who are not connected to this book?
I had trouble connecting to the book. I think that's the best way to put it. It was gorgeous. I think Wes Craig's great. But I don't know enough about the world, so with being thrown into 25, I didn't know what was supposed to have punch with me and what wasn't. It looked cool. I think some of these mutant designs are good, but I didn't know what was going on. I'll be honest. Yeah, pretty book. Fun dialogue. I like how it almost felt like it's probably because I just saw Lord of the Rings before I read this, but it felt like Uruk-hai arguing with orcs a bit. These mutants arguing with each other. It looked good, but if anything, this book made me want to be like, okay, maybe I should start at issue 1.
Yeah.
Is it going to be issue 26 that I read next? No. But maybe I actually pick up the trade, check it out. It's been on my list of things to read. The only other issue I read was 1 and whatever one we read for the show previous, which is probably like an 11 or a 12 or something like that, like a year ago.
This is probably a dumb question. Forgive me. Were there robots in this book?
No.
Okay.
This book was focused on the other groups, the mutants who have been downtrodden. I do wish they had shown the robots. But it's a weird one because I feel like it's supposed to be standalone, but it also assumes you have some level of knowledge. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get what was going on at all. I said very similar to Tyler. I really enjoyed what I was looking at, but I didn't get it.
Man, I love this thing. This was pick of the week out the gate. The this made me want to be like, oh shit, I've missed stuff. I'm seeing the artistry. I'm seeing the conceptual storytelling. Like the fact that I don't know where I am in the world, I think is fine. I've been dropped into comics before, and the fantasy element I think plays into um presumably the rest of the world, right? So I can start to extrapolate from there what I might need to know, what I might not need to know. But this is my only frame of reference outside of some of the issues we've read previously. It worked for me so well. The fact that we're following this would be leader who doesn't deserve the leadership because he's cruel was compelling to me. You know, he's here to seek power and immediately gets struck down by that power. Um, I thought that was awesome. I don't need to know who these people are for me to be able to just lump myself into being sympathetic for the people following him. I grew to get angry with that guy. He's like, oh my God, brother, we have to save him. No time. We'll honor his, his sacrifice. Let's keep moving, right? I was a piece of shit, but we're still following him because the world here is about power and who you follow with that power. Um, yeah, I thought this was great. The moment where they put that like talisman into the base of the volcano, and they're like, ah, shit, it didn't work. And at the beginning, that guy was sweating. He's like, no, it's this way. No, it's this way. So I was like, ah. There was tension there. So when it did come, it was that much more of a shock. Great two-page spread. I did read it digitally, so it's like a little like I had to switch between two
The
pages, which is annoying.
previews kind of the image previews don't
Yeah,
really help us
I
out with
wish
that.
it was one. But man, yeah, this was excellent. Oh, don't do that. I'm jealous. Yeah, this was great. And then the art overall, the colors are not murky, but they're contrasting. Greens with bright reds, greens and yellowish greens with purples, blue to distinguish individual characters at night during the day. This worked all around.
Who who was the perspective character here?
That like one monk guy at the beginning.
The guy that's on the cover,
The
the kind of greenish yellow dude, right?
yeah, the swamp guy.
The green fella.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tendril. He's a tendrils and staff.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and Jesse Lonergan, who I fucking love, phenomenal work in the backup issue.
I knew that was coming for you. Yeah, once I saw that name, I'm like, oh, here's Marcus pick of the week.
Bro, I love his work. It starts with can you show the maze page, Sean?
Yeah.
I'm like, my dude's working overtime with it. His brain is just on a different level, dude. Look at that
It's
shit.
nuts.
Panels. Oh yeah, panels. Okay, cool. We're telling a story. Panels. Break panel. Oh shit. Let's fucking push the boundaries of what the medium can do. Here it
Dude.
goes. Casual fucking. Oh, that's a 2-page. Oh,
No,
is it
no.
related? Oh no. Okay. Nice.
That
Hell yeah.
monster breaking through the labyrinth was so sick, man. So sick.
And the labyrinth being the panels previously. Yeah, dude. Anything he does, he's fucking working on a different level.
A lot of that going on this week.
Cinema. Fucking amazing, dude.
Yo, I'm getting dragged right now for liking a swamp guy. Yeah, swamp simp. So what? He's from the muck. Not my fault. Cool ass character.
He's
No,
from the muck
not
and
my
you're a
fault.
cuck.
Well,
Yeah, needless to say, I really enjoyed this. I love Kaya. I was frustrated that this was the issue that we finally got to do on the show because I knew that, there would be a reaction of like, what the fuck is happening? This wasn't as good of a jumping on point as as the prior standalone issues that we've gotten. Those would have been much better if we had landed on those, but I am glad you guys read it anyway. I think Kaya, I mean, I put it in my top 10. I think this book is tremendous. And if there was anything you liked about this, I think you will, if you go back and give it a chance, you will love what is there. I mean, I probably don't have to say it, but pick of the week.
oh no.
Pick of the
just
week
green.
or
I'm sorry. Pull.
okay.
Easy pull.
Easy pull. Oh yeah, pick of the week.
Don't get muck cuck trending. Come on.
Dan,
did you guys
Go ahead.
pick?
It's a pass for me. I don't.
Yeah. Like it's not a title that I'm reading anyway, and like I don't like not that I don't have interest in it or the team. I just like at issue 25, I'm not looking at that going, oh yeah, this is the spot.
And
You
I'm
know?
not. Yeah, I'm not going like can't wait for issue 26. I'm going. I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Man,
There's a
you
want
guys-
to read it, and I can tell the craft is good.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
there's too much right now.
The last arc was so fucking crazy. Oh my god. Ah.
I'm sure it was, but I wasn't there for the first arc or the second or the third, so I'm lost.
This sold me on 26. We get the image previews.
Oh yeah. There you go. I like it. Let's see what you guys had to say. I mean, no surprise, didn't buy or read 75% of you. Polls 10%, passes 10%, pick of the week is 3%. I really like, I can't say it enough. I've said it a million times. Buy Kaya. Give that first trade a chance. We got to get Wes Craig on the podcast so we can talk, because I need somebody to talk to about this fucking comic book.
You talk about Kaya any chance you get. It's like Pete's Invincible for you.
The Marco Swamp
Am I that bad?
No,
Is it at
no,
that
it's just I
point?
know how much you like it. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause Pete was pretty obnoxious.
I'll fall back if we're going to start comparing me to Pete when it comes to talking about the book.
Oh, I didn't know that was a bit you
Like-
guys had
like
behind the
jam.
scenes. Okay. That was before me. That was
Why,
coming as
you
listener.
don't have to attack me like that.
That's pre-crisis baggage.
Oh, I love it.
That's new to me too. All right. I'll step back. I'll step back.
Entertain Me dropped the $2 to say, I'm shocked you're not going to do Batgirl number 4. Bro, we gave it a chance. We put it on the poll.
Damn close too.
Yeah. We tried. Can only make it here if you guys vote for it.
Entertain Me. Here's my quick review. It's good. Keep reading it. Very good. I recommend it.
Wow.
There you go.
Uncanny Suit says, I'm ashamed to say I haven't been reading. Where's a good place to pick it up? Yeah, I think the first trade. If you're unwilling for some reason to invest in the whole thing, because you're just like, that's too many books to pick up in one clip, you could definitely start with the first one, and then if you really want to, you could jump on with the next arc.
The
Bet
the back matter, there's like a letter from Wes Craig in it, because I think we have a little break until April for the next
Yeah.
issue. He talked about how, like, yeah, it's 5-issue trunks with the 6th issue being one shot, or something like that. So that sounds like a good way to read it in trade.
That classic Image formula.
Yeah. And it works, I think. I think it works.
it's an image book, so that volume number 1 is gonna be cheap. I have it on Amazon, $12.
Beautiful.
That seems like more than it should be, actually.
Usually, I feel like it's
Yeah,
a
I thought it
$10
was only a
trade.
$10
but,
thing.
Well,
yeah.
listen, in this economy,
yeah,
Is it,
dude.
yeah, is that over? Is the $10 image trade thing over?
Yo, they held the line at $10 for years, bro.
I think it's been over for a while.
No.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We've been telling lies. Damn it.
Let's hope they don't
I
print these in
think
China.
some are, but I don't think it's all of them.
Yeah.
Anymore. It's not like a guarantee like it was.
Let's hit some comments. Flaming Jellybean says, didn't get a chance to read anything this week, but just wanted to come say hi and drop a like. Hope everyone's having a great week. Thank you, Flaming Jellybeans. It's very kind of you to do. And you know what? I'm having a great time right now, and that's what matters.
Wow.
Flaming jelly bean
Uh,
sounds like one of those you'd get in those Bernie bots, every flavored beans. It's like, oh, is this cinnamon or a hot sauce or something? It just sounds like, oh.
Roger Hernandez says, don't got time to read trades during a semester. Well, it's because you read 40 polls and doing calc homework, bro.
Yeah, holy shit. You muted yourself.
I was going to say, you don't have time for your homework, apparently. So
I thought he left to go do his homework.
No, no, he's still here.
He came
Lots of
back. Oh my goodness. Lieutenant Dan has no legs says, I wanted to thank you guys. I went out and bought all 6 issues of the new Turtles run, and I really liked it so far. Thank you for listening to us and for giving it a chance. You know, I think this is fair game to share that Marco and I received emails thanking us for our review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 6. And they were very happy with, you know, what we did. And so the fact that we can translate that, we really did. The fact that we can,
Can I ask from who?
from Greg Katzman, he's their
okay.
The rep
behind the scenes guy. Yeah.
I was going to be like, I was on that show too. I did it.
It's because Marco
You
and
have
I hung out
the
with Greg at
report.
Comic-Con
Yeah,
and
you got
shit
the
like that,
report.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So yeah, so like that kind of thing happens. People hear us reviewing the books favorably. You say you bought it. Greg could be listening right now, and he hears that you bought that based on our recommendation. That plays well for us. So thank you for sharing that.
In
beautiful
all
name.
caps, Roger Hernandez. Oh, I was able to read the Power Fantasy trade last week. It was so gas.
That's him screaming from the other room that he has to stream on because he's doing his
Right.
homework in the other room.
That's
yeah,
right.
of
Yeah.
course.
And you know what? Go check out our interview with Kieran. If you want to hear more about that, right after this. I know you're doing homework, and if you need something in the background, you want to talk when you hear Kieran talk about the Power Fantasy and all the crazy shit that happens, go check it out.
I gotta say, listening to that while on painkillers was interesting.
Wait,
I had an IV
Wait.
drip. I had the drip in me when I was
Oh
when
my
you guys
God.
were live.
Weren't you there?
that's what I said. That's
I
what I was
showed up
thinking, right?
afterwards. I literally, in the span of you
Oh,
guys
that's
doing the
right.
show, I had an IV drip in me, and by the time you finished the show, I was ready to do the podcast back home.
I had the same thought, Sean. I'm
That's
like,
right.
wait, were you like glazed over while we were doing that? Like, but I was like, oh, that's right.
I was
hold
feeling
on.
good.
I mean, he was. Yeah.
I was feeling good.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
And then I did Pal's
Oh.
previews right afterwards.
James Jones says, I love Kai and I'm caught up, so this issue was great for me. I could see it would be tough for a newbie, but getting caught up with this is definitely worth it. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more.
Codeine crazy. Tyler.
I don't think it was codeine.
Oh, Roger said he did listen to the episode. That's what convinced him to read it. Hell yeah. Thank you. Another successful conversion.
And we're still gonna give away a Power Fantasy trade. I forgot last week, quite frankly, but we'll do it on Saturday. We'll give one away. I don't even know how we're gonna do it, but we'll do it. We'll give one away.
Do it live.
Yeah, fuck it.
That's only for me to worry about. I'll figure it out.
It'll be some kind
I'll
of a
figure it out.
fucking, enter name.
We've done it
into a
before. We've done it before.
System. Okay, so we're gonna do the stack in just a moment, but I did want to share something with you guys that I think is pretty cool. Now, as we all know, Christmas is in December, but sometimes you celebrate Christmas in February. And so I have some things to show you.
Do we? You guys.
Listen.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you do.
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
All
I
right.
guess.
Sometimes you do. And so what I have to share with you is I got this bad boy,
Ooh.
Avengers by Hickman Omnibus.
Let's see the girth, Sean.
Look at that.
Wow.
Look at the thickness. Look at that.
Barely wrap
Look
your
at the
hands around it.
ants.
It's gonna go great for our audio listeners.
Yeah.
They understand. You understand the feeling, the vibe of getting a new trade or a new omnibus, a new floppy. And you open the box, and the first thing you do is you take a whiff and you smell that bad boy. And that's how you know you're in for a good time. It's a ritual.
It's nice to see that me and Sean both buy things online that we like to smell.
What do you buy online that you like to smell?
Keep going. Is that all of Avengers, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Pivot. Cool. Awesome. Go on.
Does that count for the stack?
No, I didn't buy it. It was a gift. That's why I
Oh.
said Christmas.
I see. Okay.
But there's more.
There's
There's
more.
more.
Because you want to talk about thick with
Uh-oh.
2 C's, we're going to have to add another C. This is the triple C. This is the Immortal Hulk
Oh, 50.
Omnibus, the Hulknibus, if you will. Look at that.
That's massive.
Is that the full thing?
This is the whole shebanger.
Holy
Dang.
shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
Witness
exciting.
The full horror of the size of that omnibus. Whoa.
I love both of these runs, so I'm very happy to be able to add them to my collection, and I thought I would share it with my friends. So,
Hell yeah.
You could probably kill someone with those.
Easy.
the Immortal Hulk one could definitely kill somebody. No
Like
doubt.
if there was like a Clue adaptation of Sean's apartment, that would be one of the things.
Yeah.
Dude, you never know when you have to defend yourself and your family, and so that's how I can justify all these omnibuy that I have. Listen, there are weapons all over the fucking place. You never know. You got to crack somebody over the head; they'll never wake up again.
That
You know
pristine
how they
inferno.
say how they say if you drop a penny from the Empire State Building, it'll go right through someone.
Yeah.
You do that from the first floor window of Sean's building with that book, and it'll do the same thing.
1000%.
Yeah.
Like your head is just, you're not gonna have a neck.
You're gonna
You're not-
cave, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Big Ed. That was for Sean.
Why the fuck am I the one that knows that? Like I don't want to know that.
You like yourself a little bit of shitty reality TV.
I don't watch that. I don't
but
watch.
I knew
90
you
Day
know about
Fiancé.
it. See, part of the universe.
Because never mind. Oh. Julian Thomas says, I picked up the Ultimates this week because of you guys. Hey, thank you for telling us, and I hope you enjoyed it. Did you get to check it out?
Hope
What'd
you
you
enjoyed
think?
the price.
Well, no one enjoys the price.
One guy, very specific.
Right. Catherine, I definitely did not say that. I didn't say that. I would never say that.
Say what?
I won't say that. You cannot trap me.
Damn, thought I got you.
You cannot do it.
No. Lucas Holner says, I smelled my Uncanny Volume 2 Omni as soon as I opened it. See? I'm not weird. That's what we do.
Sure.
You know that.
Flaming Jelly Beans. Babe, I'm buying this Batman Year One Artist Edition for self-defense. Word.
Those
word.
artist
You
editions,
don't-
though. Yeah, that's a
I
shield.
don't got a bat behind my door. I got an artist edition book behind my door.
And you know what, Flaming Jelly Beans? There may come a time, and it may be the very day you make that announcement to your girl, where you're going to need that in self-defense from her. Because she's not going to be happy you made that purchase.
My wife won't let me have weapons in the house.
You're what?
My wife.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Uncanny Suit, my War of the Realms Omni is on my shelf. Strictly for weapon purposes, 1,300 pages of lethal force. Damn.
So, like Uncanny Omar, his place is a fortress. It is an armory.
Fort, yeah, an
Yeah.
armory. That's exactly it. It's the you know, in Men in Black when they walk into the people's apartment and the walls open behind them and it's all Tommy Lee Jones's weapons over
Yep.
the years or whatever. That's exactly what his place is.
Omar, he got that shit though. He got real artillery, not just comics. He's not playing. You roll up into his house, think you're gonna come up off his comics, you're gonna end up looking like what they wanted Luke Cage to look like at the end of Ultimates. You better hope you're a Power Man.
Swiss cheese.
Yep. Oh man. All right, let's get into the stack. Cale is back now, so Cale will take over the duty of reading the the numbers.
I gotta find all these numbers again. Y'all doing them too early. What is this?
Yeah. I didn't put the
They
call
started
out.
as soon as I did the slide transfer. That was my bad, I think.
Oh, all right. Let's call it. Get me those numbers.
Rami started it though. If you
Well,
go up
that's
to
fine.
Rami,
You better start it again.
Rami's is up there.
It's a ways up. I got it. I can start.
Go ahead.
Rami with 14, James Jones 16, 17 with Dan, Lucas Hollner 16, Luna 15, Marika Skrull 14, Near 16. Oh, he says 9. Never mind. 18. Catherine Stars 17. Where are we at? Where
And
are
then we
at?
said some dumb shit that kind of got them off track.
Yeah, Mike Hank was 16. Oh, people are coming back in. Lucas, we got you 16. Ted H 20. Chop Harder Alchemist 14. Bandit 00 18. Uncanny Suit 14. Steve Canaris 14. Banksy 13. And C.W. Gordon with 17.
And don't forget Near, who's never far away. His number got 18.
18. Roger
Is it-
Hernandez 13. Is that the answer to one of your Cal questions?
Is it Near who's always forgotten?
No, it was Izzy.
Oh, that sucks.
Only forgotten
yeah,
in this
I'm a
sense.
big fan.
Let-
Lieutenant Dan has no legs, but he does have a number 13.
Rami Darwish says I have to call first because I won't pick a number somebody else picked.
All right. Well, you guys know about the 6 we read here for the show. And we've got The Sacrificers, number 14. This book is phenomenal.
Some
Can't say
people got
enough
that
good
last week, according to you two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Ice Cream Man. Speaking of last week, this was released last week, but my shop didn't get Image books last week,
Oof.
so I had to grab this. I'm excited to get into it. Cale, do you know about this issue?
I have it. I haven't gotten to it yet. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, this has one-page stories featuring like a fucking who's who: Morrison, John, Zoe Thorogood, Fraction, Camp, Lemire, DeConnick, just so many people. Grimm, number 21. Batman Off-World, number 6. This finally came to a conclusion. I'm excited to see how that shapes up. Hornsby and Halo, number 3, another book from Image that I missed out on last week.
I gotta read that.
I haven't read past the first issue. Like, that second one is still waiting for me.
Yeah, I just need to catch on this one.
Rocket Fellers, number 3, and I love this cover.
Hmm.
I don't even know who did it. It's really nice though. Namor, number 7.
I didn't end up picking that one up. I'm like, actually, nah.
I'm actually
You
not sure
talked
why I
about it.
bought it.
Yeah, why? Why did you?
I don't know. I definitely shouldn't have.
Marco, you forgave Namor's genocide only to not pick up the book.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh
actually-
yeah,
I was like, actually, no, though. I don't want it.
you talked all that shit.
Cause like there were other books. It was a heavy week.
Actually, I don't like genocide.
I just realized that.
It's the middle of an arc, Sean. So careful.
Sean, that cover is a Mike McCone cover for Rockefellers.
That'll be why I don't like it.
And Snot Girl, number 18. Was this that was the one that released this week, wasn't it? Because
You're
if
good.
not,
You're good.
18,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you're
We
good.
talked about that on previews, yeah.
thank fuck. So that's it. And I think I have that at 14.
14. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do any
So-
Marvel outside of Ultimates?
Namor,
Oh yeah, Namor. Yeah.
but that's it.
It looks like Rami. Nailed it.
Hey.
Right off the
what-
bat,
First
too.
one in, best one in.
Nice. All right, Rami, good shit, man. Well, if you would like Ultimates or Namor, I guess.
Slim
me know.
pickings this week.
Yeah, wow. This has got to be the least Marvel I've bought in a while.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I thought you weren't done listing your books yet, unless you forgot something.
I dropped Phoenix. I made the choice. It's
Hurts
over.
to hear. Yeah, you're not an
I saw
Avengers guy.
No.
Scarlet Witch.
D.W. Gordon
no.
says, I can forgive genocide, but not $3.99. Marco, probably.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. Marvel Light Week, Sean. Yeah, I think you're safe. I think you're in the clear.
Yeah. Marco Circa now.
CW Gordon says 14. Sean is getting better. Yes. Yes, I am. And that's how we're going to
Buy
leave it.
Namor.
That's not true.
Yeah, well, yeah, I shouldn't have bought Neymar. That was ridiculous. That like what I've done now, what I'm doing now is I'm writing down the books that I intend to buy, and I had 10 on my list. So, what the fuck? Well, I didn't write down the Image books from last week that I still needed to pick up, and then I just randomly bought Namor.
Sean, I pulled up the stack so far. So it's been 5 weeks since the start of the year. 2024, you had up until this point, the 5th week, 60 books. This year you have 79. So you're not doing better, bud. You somehow in 5 week span have gone up.
To be fair,
year-over-year.
Nah.
I think the diamond
that's-
thing screws things up because there
yeah,
was like a
that's
week.
BS.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That was a heavy stack. That was
So
a heavy
you're
stack.
probably about the same.
The first, because the first week was crazy because
Yeah.
of the week before. So I'm not gonna take that shit, Marco.
Let's see. Let's average. Let's put your average in there. What does that look
I
like?
mean, you're still not doing better. You're probably doing the same.
If we put your average, let's say you would have put in like 14 books, you would be at 66, so just a little bit above.
Fuck.
You know what that tells
Hey.
me? Comics are getting better.
Hey.
There wasn't an absolute line last year, okay? There wasn't TMNT. There's new books.
Sean, have you bought a red band cover this
Nope.
year? Exactly. Sean's doing better, Marco.
Yeah, that's right.
Except for Wolverine Revenge, but we agreed to that. But after that, I'm completely done. I will never buy.
There's no
Red
buts for
Band
an
again.
addict, Sean. Come on.
No. We agreed to that.
I know.
In like October. So, damn it. Lucas Allner said, "I loved Phoenix. I'm glad you did. I just don't see what you guys are getting out of it. Uncanny Suit. Are we ever going to decide the canon way to pronounce Namor? Is this going to be like Falcone in the Batman movies? No. I got the solution for you. The white Namor is Namor. The brown Namor is Namor.
Actually, that's literally what I think about in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What else is it?
Marvel Rivals, that's Namor.
Yeah.
The one on this cover, that's Namor.
Namor.
Like
That makes me think of what does that
Neymar?
make you think of?
Neymar, the soccer player,
Yeah, actually,
or Nomar Garcia Parra, the baseball player. God, look at me with the sports.
It makes me think of damn, what's that shit you put on food? Oh my god. Damn it, I can't remember.
Sazon.
Furikake?
Hell no. No, that shit you put on food on like a sandwich, like mayo. It makes me think of mayonnaise. Yes. Namor makes me think of mayo. Cause it's so white. Namor. Namor. You know what I'm saying? That's what that shit makes me think of.
What's that thing?
Right?
What's that thing? Oh, mayo.
Yeah, because you know what? I haven't had anything with mayo on it in like what year is it? In like 18 years.
Oh yeah, it is dairy.
It's like a base for most stuff.
It's not a part of my life.
Is it dairy, Marco? It's just oil and eggs.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Eggs are technically dairy.
It's in
but
the
I guess
dairy
it's not
section,
milk,
but it's
so-
not milk, so it doesn't affect the dairy allergy.
Yeah, it would.
Otherwise, you couldn't have baked goods. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't have baked goods.
You don't eat bread?
Oh no, I eat bread. Yeah.
I got eggs.
Bread is mad good.
Yeah, bread is good.
Yo,
Whole
you know
wheat?
what you know what?
I'm
Never
getting
mind.
kind of tired of bread.
What?
Yeah, I think it upsets my stomach.
No.
That's your gluten, bro.
The indigestion. Eat too much of it.
Lucas says, Sean, you haven't had a McChicken? I call Cap. Dude, you don't know me very well, man. I have never had a McChicken in my fucking life.
And they be spurting that mayo on those McChickens. It does not
That's
look
nasty.
appealing.
It's
Uh,
nasty.
That is gnarly. I once got a Wendy's hamburger and it had more mayo than ketchup on it. And I had to meticulously wipe off all of the mayo off that fucking sandwich.
You had to get the shirt you took off to wipe it off, right?
Wait, why would I take off a shirt?
Never mind, that was a cum joke. Okay, let's go.
All right. All right. You know what? I don't know where to go from there. So
That's-
what we're gonna do
that's- you're
is
welcome,
we're gonna
guys.
let you know that we will be live with you again on Saturday. This coming Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern, we're gonna be live. We're gonna be giving away a copy of the Power Fantasy. Hold me to it. I gotta remember to do it. We're gonna give one away because I want to get that book in somebody's hands. And other than that, there's a lot of shit to talk about. We're gonna be following the ongoing trials and tribulations of Diamond every week. So we'll be talking about that, whatever other things are happening in the comic book industry on the main show this Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You guys have been amazing. We will see you in the next one. Until then,